A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Rupert Barlow, wealthy man about town and financial backer of Larry's present Broadway play, is suddenly faced with a situation he would never have believed possible. Today he's standing on the pier watching the luxury liner from Bermuda dock. He's here because of a cable from Julia Dixon, his faithful housekeeper and secretary for more than 10 years. As the ship is made fast, he scans the faces of the passengers on deck, trying to pick out Julia. But so far he's had no success, and this fact adds to his dismay. Keeping his place in the crowd of cheering, chattering people on the pier, he orders his man, Victor.
I can't see her anywhere, Victor. I've searched everyone's face. She just isn't on deck. After all the trouble I've taken up to driving all the way in from Long Island to meet her and this young whippersnapper she's had the nerve to bring back with her. See if you can get through the crowd and find her, Victor. Get on board if necessary. I'm absolutely jammed in here. Go on, hurry. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life in this confounded pier.
What's the matter, friend? Can't you find your girl?
What? What did you say?
I said take it easy. You'll find her. They always show up sooner or later.
I'm not interested in your philosophical observations, my good man. I'm here in this absurd crowd to meet a passenger.
What do you think I'm doing? Sightseeing?
I'm not interested in your problems.
Okay, I was just trying to be friendly. You want to be an old sourpuss? Go ahead. Hey, you think you've got troubles? What about me? I'm expecting my wife and her 2 sisters and her 3 kids all coming back to the apartment. You should see the place. Boy, will they have a surprise.
Confound it, I don't see them anywhere. Maybe they didn't take this boat after all. Maybe they changed their minds.
Well, don't let it get you down, friend. There's always another boat. Oh, there she is. Hey, Myra. Here, look over here. Hey, Myra!
Heaven's name, do you have to yell like that and shout?
I'm sorry, I gotta get through. Right over here, Myra. Stay where you are. I'll get through.
Still no sign of Julia. This is a trick. If she got me here just to pay me back for leaving her in Bermuda.
And in Rosehaven, Long Island, Claudia Vincent, Mary Noble's unwelcome house guest, has just returned to the house after several hours at the beauty parlor in the village. Behind her is Larry. And as the front door closes, we hear...
Anybody home?
We're here, Larry, in the living room. I'm writing some notes.
Oh, my dear Mary, how lovely the flowers look. How fresh and good everything smells. Oh, and what a blessed relief after that horrible beauty parlor.
You better sit down and relax for a bit, Claudia.
Indeed I will, Larry. Oh, this is glorious. I don't believe I'll ever have the energy to move again.
Might as well stay where you're comfortable.
Lunch will be ready in less than half an hour.
Good. I'm absolutely famished. I declare if I stay here much longer, I'll lose my figure entirely. Everything tastes so good.
Honey, I'm afraid I won't be able to stay for lunch.
Oh, Larry, why not?
I've got to get right into New York. It's matinee day, you know.
Oh, yes, darling, of course. That's why we're having an early lunch, but surely you can stay and have something.
No, I'm afraid not, dear. I really ought to get in at once. As a matter of fact, I should have left some time ago. I have a couple of interviews scheduled. You know what that means.
Oh, my dear, you're making me feel like an absolute beast.
You, Claudia, why?
Well, I asked you to drive me to the village and then come after me.
Oh, nonsense.
And here I've made you late for your interview. Well, I'll just never forgive myself. Larry, you should have told me at once.
But you had nothing to do with it. I still have plenty of time. It's only that I ought to get started.
Oh, can't I get you just a little something, Larry, before you leave?
No, I'd rather not, honey. Honestly, I want to get started. I can always send out for something if I feel like it after I get to the theater.
Well, if you really must. I wish I'd known I could have had your lunch earlier.
Well, how could he have eaten earlier when he was driving me all about? Oh, I'm really ashamed. You're far too sweet, Larry. I swear I don't see how you bear up under all the things you have to do. And that terrible drive back and forth from New York. If I were a famous star, let me tell you, I'd have everybody waiting on me day and night.
I'm sure you would, Claudia.
Well, I've got to go. I'll see you all later. If you're still up. I'll be pretty late, though.
I'll wait up for you, Larry. I know that Mary will be tired after a day of looking after things here, but Well, I'll take a long beauty nap this afternoon so that I'll be wide awake and fresh as a daisy when you get home. And then we can have a nice long talk.
Fine. So long, then. Got to get going now.
Goodbye, dear.
Isn't he simply wonderful, Mary?
Yes, I think so.
How in the world did you ever get him?
Well, he just happened to fall in love with me, I guess.
Of course, my dear. Oh, I wasn't being catty. I only meant... Well, with half the women in the world simply mad about him, how did he ever bring himself to marry, to settle down?
Larry likes living at home. He likes to have his family about.
Now, isn't that sweet of him? And yet, there must be times when he gets restless. A man like Larry wouldn't be human if he didn't. And he's so very, very human.
Claudia, have you decided what you're going to do?
Do? About what, dear?
About Rupert Barlow in particular.
Oh, do you know that just being here these few short days, I've almost put Rupert Barlow out of my mind? Isn't that rather wonderful?
I suppose so. And yet, since you were so determined to settle the matter of your family fortune, I wondered.
I was reckless and foolish. I realize that now. When I thought about how Rupert Barlow had deliberately victimized Mother and me years ago and stolen every penny of the estate my father left for our security, I just saw red. I was determined to make him do something to repay me for all those years of poverty and hardship.
Yes, I know. What I meant was...
And so I went straight to his home in Oyster Bay, and I moved right in while he was away in Bermuda.
I'm rather surprised that the servants permitted you to do that.
I don't suppose they would, my dear. But you see, the cook remembered my mother and me so well. She's been with Rupert for years, and so, of course, she said it would be quite all right.
I see.
I simply waited till Rupert returned. Of course, he was furious, but right then I didn't care. I was going to face him down, make him give me back at least part of the money that he'd stolen.
Don't you realize that Rupert might have handled you far more severely, Claudia? I mean to say, he might have insisted that you leave. He might even have resorted to calling the police.
And have a royal scandal break into all the papers? I dared him to do that, Mary. He wanted to. Oh, don't think he allowed me to remain because of any sense of chivalry. He just didn't dare call my bluff.
I'm not surprised when you threatened violence.
For what can a woman in my position do against a man like Rupert, with all the wealth and power he has behind him?
I don't know, Claudia. But I doubt if resorting to a gun is the answer.
I didn't intend to shoot him, only to frighten him. I was desperate. If you hadn't pulled me off my balance, the shots would have been far more off their mark. I had no idea you were standing just outside the door.
I only came to see why you two hadn't returned to the other room.
And ever since, you've been trying to convince your husband that I'm a dangerous character. Isn't that so, Mary?
No, that isn't true at all.
Do you believe I'd have shot Rupert? Do you?
I don't know. To me, loaded guns usually mean violence.
And if I had, do you think I could have gained anything by that? Could I have ever got him to do anything for me if I'd killed him?
I've told you, Claudia, I don't know what your motives were. I only know that I'm sorry we got involved in any of this.
So sorry you can scarcely bear it till I pack up and leave.
I haven't said anything of the sort, Claudia.
But your eyes show it. Your whole bearing. You've succeeded in making everyone else in the house share your views. All except one, my dear Mary. All except Larry. He believes in me. He knows that I'm innocent of any wrongdoing. And he's given me a haven for a short time so that I can heal my bruised spirit and go forth to battle again.
That sounds very dramatic, Claudia. But you still haven't answered my question. What are your plans? If you don't intend to carry on your fight with Rupert Barlow, what then?
Has Rupert persuaded you to sound me out? Is that it?
Of course not. I believe I have some right to know.
Why? Because you've allowed me to stay here against your will? Because you know that your husband would be angry if you turned me out? Because you're infatuated with Rupert Barlow and wouldn't do anything to offend him? Do any of those things give you the right to know my immediate plans?
Mary's so angry, she returns to her letters, unable to control herself enough to speak. But she thinks...
If only Larry were here to see how Claudia really is. She reveals herself to me. But how different she is when Larry is present.
Be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
tonight's story, The Castaways by Ernest Kinoy. In the South Pacific, night comes on rapidly. The sun dips below the flat horizon, the sea is crimson for a moment, and then night falls. But on Tahani Atoll, giant arc lights turn night into day. Across the waters of the lagoon, within the barrier reef, launches and tugs skitter back and forth, while on the curving half-moon of the island, army trucks and jeeps scuttle down the rough roads bulldozed by the Seabees just 6 weeks ago. A low Quonset hut stands near the beach, surrounded by tangled wire. This is the preliminary command post, and inside is General Frank Gaydosh, field director of the test. Operation Destruction.
Everything's on schedule, General. Radiological surveys complete. Instruments placement checked.
Well, get me Navy and tell them H hour is as ordered. Send a periodic time check to Air Force on 90-week talk and observation control on the Missouri.
Yes, sir.
I want a complete roster check on all personnel before H hour.
Yes, sir. Oh, Nate Cohen wants to see you.
Well, who the devil's he?
AP man. He's been selected by the press radio pool to interview.
I haven't got any time. Tell him to speak to Major Dwight Friedenberg. He's the PRO.
I think perhaps you'd better see him, sir. The directive on public relations from Washington was very clear.
Well, how in blazes am I supposed to run a bomb test and play mother hen to a bunch of reporters?
Washington said...
All right. Bring him in. Borelli?
Yes, sir.
Get me some black coffee, will you?
Yes, sir. This is Mr. Cohen, General Gaydosh.
How do you do, General?
Lousy, as a matter of fact.
Is that an official statement?
No. You can run some of that "the world is at the crossroads" baloney.
I wrote that yesterday. General, what effect do you think the new bomb will have on the world situation?
I can't tell you that, even if I knew. My job is to set the blasted thing off and see that nobody gets hurt, and collect the data.
Can I speak to you a moment, sir?
Later, Alan. Go ahead, Cohen.
Can you release anything on the scientific principles involved?
I don't even understand them myself. Wait a minute. Dr. Muller?
Yes?
Come over here a minute, will you? Cohen, this is Dr. Fred Muller, Civilian Scientific Director. He's the only one who knows what's inside that warhead.
How do you do, Mr. Cohen?
How about a statement, Doctor?
Oh, I'm afraid all I'm allowed to say is that the bomb is new, it's extremely powerful, and off the record, it's very tricky and dangerous.
What'll happen if it goes off prematurely?
I don't think we have to worry about that. In fact, we wouldn't even know about it. If you'll excuse me.
How about the natives?
Well, what about them?
Aren't they going to be evacuated from the island?
We already have been.
General Gaydosh.
Well, I saw the Tahani chief outside when I came in. The whole tribe squatting down at the motor pool having a conference.
What? Alan.
I've been trying to tell you, sir. The Tahani are still on the island.
Well, why? The LCTs are ready, aren't they?
Yes, sir, but they won't go. They refuse.
The schedule called for their evacuation to Bailani 3 hours ago.
I realize that, sir, but I hoped we could still get them off without violence.
Look, Alan, they're either on the island or off. Now, wait a minute. Cohen, that's all.
What are you going to do about the natives, General?
Never mind. I'll issue a statement later.
You going to force them?
Go on. Get out. I haven't got time.
All right, General. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
All right, Alan. Let's have it.
Well, sir, the Tahani have been kicking up all along. They won't leave.
They won't. Do they know what's going to happen to the island? Do they know that we're going to blow it higher than a kite?
I told the chief. He just said they won't go.
They'll go, all right, if I have to... Yeah, hey, get him in here.
The chief?
Yeah, and that lieutenant who interprets.
Yes, sir.
How do you like that, Dr. Muller? I haven't got enough trouble.
You know, I feel rather sorry for the Tahani. Can't make much sense to them. We arrive and tell them they've got to get out.
Look, I appreciate your finer feelings, Muller, but I can't let the Kanakas hold up the bomb test.
They're not Kanakas, General. Captain Cook discovered the island in 1788.
Well, what's the difference?
Lieutenant Gilbert reporting, sir.
Hey, look, I haven't got time for ceremony, Gilbert. Tell the chief he and his tribe have got to get off the island. We're providing homes for them on Mailani.
Translate,
Gilbert.
The chief says you do not understand. Mailani is a bad island. My people have lived on Tahani from the time that our ancestors were cast away on the island. The spirits of our ancestors are buried in the earth. Our fathers are buried here. Our fathers' fathers.
If he thinks I'm going to move his graveyard, he's crazy.
In our ancestors' time, the Tahani came in a great bird canoe. We were cast away on this island. We have made it our home. What right have you now to carry us over the sea to a strange land where we would die weeping for our homes? We will not go.
By the waters of Babylon, there we sat down and we wept when we remembered Zion.
Well, thank you, Dr. Muller. You're a great help. Say, Gilbert.
Yes, sir.
Tell him I have no choice. He's got till midnight to get his tribe on board those LCTs peacefully, or I'll have the Marine Detachment carry him aboard.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that rather harsh, General? After all, justice is on their side. We're preparing to blow up their island, and we haven't asked them about it.
Dr. Muller, will you kindly confine yourself to the scientific aspects of this operation? I'll take care of administrative matters.
If you could explain to them what's at stake here.
Any further explaining I've got to do, I'll do with the Marine detachments. I'm not going to hold up my schedule. Well, Gilbert?
I told him, sir.
All right, get him out of here. I've had enough.
No,
What the devil's that?
Some kind of a curse, sir. I can catch some of it. The island will remember the tears of its children and punish the invaders. The great destroyers will not destroy. And the evil man, who is the chief, will travel far through the blackness of night. Even as the children of the island end, so will he.
All right, Gilbert, take him away.
Yes, sir.
Colonel Allen, get a detail from the Marine Detachment with tear gas and small arms down to the motor pool. And in 1 hour, have those natives on that transport, and I don't care how they do it. Is that my copy, Varelli?
Yes, sir.
They must know about the bomb. The great destroyer will not destroy.
You worried about that curse?
I should think you might be. He threatened you personally. If I were you, I'd carry a pistol till they got off the island. The chief looked as if he'd cheerfully strangle you with his bare hands.
I'm supposed to end the way they do, huh? What's that?
Probably the Tahani saying goodbye to their island. I think I'll go down to the motor pool.
Well, stay out of the way. And get back here in an hour. We've got to have this wrapped up and headquarters moved out to the Missouri by dawn.
Instrument room checking in, sir.
That's the last. Have the Missouri take over control and send for my jeep.
Yes, sir.
Are the LCTs standing by for those natives?
Yes, sir. They're on the beach.
The bomb unit is assembled in place, General.
2330, right on the nose. Robbins, start evacuation procedure.
The Tahani have stopped.
Allen's probably moving them out to the beach. Check in with Navy and Air Force, Pirelli.
Yes, sir.
What's that?
Coming to the beach.
The Tahani making trouble. Come on.
General.
Hey, Joe. Gilbert, what is it?
Colonel Allen ordered the Marines.
Well, what happened?
The natives just got up and started marching.
Did they embark?
You don't understand, sir. They marched up the cliff and right off into the lagoon.
What?
All of them, the women and the kids, too. They didn't even try to swim.
What were you doing all this time, just standing around with your thumb in your mouth? Where was the Marine detachment?
We couldn't stop them, sir. They just walked over the cliff. They didn't even scream, not even the kids. We sent the crash boats out, but we couldn't get them, any of them.
The crazy idiots. Were there any reporters there?
Well, Cohen and a life photographer.
Well, get his film and hold it till I release it.
What are you going to do, General? Postpone H hour?
It's too late for that now. And calling H hour off isn't going to bring the natives back.
100 men, women, and children just walking into the water. It's horrible.
I know. I'm not happy about it either. There's nothing we can do now. I gave him a chance to get off.
I was just thinking about the curse the chief put on you. Even as the children of the island end, so will he. That's what he said to you, General.
I know. I heard him.
Your jeep's waiting, General.
The great destroyer will not destroy. That must mean the bomb.
Don't worry, Dr. Muller. It'll take more than a mumbo-jumbo curse from a native witch doctor to stop this operation. At H hour, that bomb goes off.
hour minus 1 minute 30 seconds. H minus 1:30.
Video screen's hooked in, sir.
All right, check control stations.
Observation station 1.
Observation station 1, check.
Radiation station.
Radiation control, check.
Test the firing
Observation
circuit,
station
Dr.
two.
Muller.
Right, General.
2, check.
Damage control station.
Damage control, check.
All set.
Communications.
Communications, check.
All checked in, sir.
It is H minus 1 minute. H minus 1.
Take a good look at that island on that screen, Dr. Muller. When you throw that key, it just won't be there anymore. Nothing but an atom mushroom over the lagoon.
Quite a funeral pyre for the Tahani.
Stubborn idiots. They can't get in the way of progress.
Progress? I wonder if it is, General.
It is H minus 30 seconds. H hour minus 29, 28, 27, 26.
The Great Destroyer. That's what he called the bomb.
Hold it, Muller. Allen, report.
All checked in, sir. Cameras running.
Sound fire warning. Stand by for firing. Ready, Muller?
Ready?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
General, it didn't go off. The bomb didn't go off.
Borelli. Signal standby. Condition red. Yes, sir. Allen, check readings. Muller, what's wrong? What happened?
I don't know. The bomb didn't go off.
Well, what do you mean? Why didn't it?
I don't know, except for one thing. The Tahani chief said the Great Destroyer would not destroy. It didn't, General. The bomb didn't go off.
How about it, General? What happened? Have you got a statement?
Nothing you can use, Cohen. Not till we find out what went wrong. Hey, who let you come aboard this ship?
I walked on. You don't know why the bomb failed?
It didn't fail. It just didn't go off.
What's that tank thing on the deck, General?
Undersea salvage unit, Mark IV. They call it a bottom crawler.
Somebody going down?
Well, that bomb is down there in the lagoon somewhere. Could go off at any second. Somebody's got to go down and find it and disarm it.
That's a lovely job. Who's elected?
I am.
Wow.
And Dr. Muller. He's the only one who knows how to dismantle it.
All is ready, General.
All right. Come on, Muller.
I'm ready.
Allen, as soon as we hit shallow water, get those gates open. We'll pull the crawler out. And then you get away in a hurry. If that bomb goes while we're working on it, I don't want any casualties.
Yes, sir.
Inside, Muller.
All right. I'm in.
Now, remember, get this LST out of the lagoon in a hurry. You got that, Allen? You take your orders from Admiral Yancey.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Closing the hatch. The radar and Geiger counter warmed up, Muller.
I was just thinking of something, General. That curse, part of it came true. The bomb didn't go off.
Well?
The second part of that curse was that you would end where they ended. That was at the bottom of the lagoon.
What are you trying to do, Muller?
Nothing. I was just thinking this crawler is going to take us right down there where the Tahani died.
I'm not worried about a handful of dead natives, Muller. I'm worried about that bomb. Okay, they're opening the gate. Let's go. USU-4 to control. Depth 50 feet. Bottom sandy. Dropping off sharp. Anything on sonar, Muller?
School of fish.
You ever been down in a crawler before?
Only in the tank at New London. I think I've got a Geiger reading dead ahead. Hang on. Getting something on sonar now. Left to point.
USU-4 to control. Over. USU-4 to control. Over. It's a fine note. The radio's out.
Dead ahead. Looks too large to be the bomb.
Can't see much on the forward vision plate. Hey, wait a minute. That's part of the reef ahead.
That's where the Geiger reading indicated. The bomb must have settled in a hole in the reef.
We'll have to go after it in diving suits. The suits are in the locker. Let's get this over with. The less time I spend down here waiting for that bomb to blow, the better I like it. Muller.
your helmet clamped tight? You getting me all right on your headset?
Okay.
I'm going to fill the lock. Here goes the outer door. Let's go.
This isn't like that diving tank in New London.
Look out for that coral. It can cut you to ribbons.
There's a hole of some sort there.
Wait till I get the light up. See if you can get a Geiger reading out of that hole.
Just a... There. It's down there, all right.
Careful. I'll drop down first.
See anything down there?
Muller, get down here fast.
What is it? Find something?
The bottom of this hole, it's metal, and the sides.
But it's the coral reef.
Look, welded joints. These are hull plates of some kind.
Look out, above us.
It's closing. Grab it.
Too late.
A metal hatch. It just slid over the top.
This is impossible. What's going on?
It's like an airlock.
The water's being pumped out. General, you realize what this means?
I'm not sure. There's an inner door opening. Careful.
It's a passageway. What do we do now?
There isn't much we can do. We can take off our helmets, though. The dial shows good air.
All right. Come on.
What is this? An undersea fort? What's it doing here? What does it mean?
Whatever it is, our bomb must be down here. Wait, there's someone there.
I can't see. There's a shadow. Who is it? Who's there?
Welcome, Dr. Muller. Welcome to our ship. We've been waiting for you.
General, it can't be. You see it? It's the Tahani chief.
How long has the bottom crawler been down, Borelli?
4 hours, sir. 2 since we lost contact.
I'll keep trying.
Yes, sir.
I've given him enough time. I'm going to send another crawler down.
What do you figure happened to him, Colonel?
Well, there are a lot of things. Hey, how did you get in here?
I walked in. When are you going to release this, Colonel? It's the biggest story since the election. Bomber dead and Dr. Muller and General Gaydash dead.
They're not dead. At least we don't know they are. As long as that bomb doesn't go off, there's still a chance.
What happened?
Borelli, condition red. Gilbert, radiation control into action. Get the hot squad into Tahani Lagoon as soon as it's cleared. And get me a PT boat with radiation screens.
What is it, Colonel? What happened?
Bomb must have blown.
How about Muller and the General?
If they were down there in that lagoon, you guessed. Now get out of my way. I'm busy.
Radiation reading 75 and steady.
Take her in as close to the beach as you can.
Steady as she goes.
Is there any danger of any more explosions?
No. When she goes, she goes.
Radiation 82.
That's still safe. Cohen, is that something on the beach?
Yeah. Looks like a body. Maybe you blew one of the Tahani back out of the lagoon.
No, it's moving. Gilbert, glasses.
Yes, sir.
That's a man, all right. Head into the beach.
Who is it, Colonel?
Can't tell. He's in a diving suit. It's either Muller or General Gaydoff. Get his helmet off. Easy now.
Twist to the right.
There. It's Muller. Gilbert, help me get him out of this diving suit. We've got to get him to the medics.
No radiation burns, superficial bruises, mild shock. He'll be all right, Colonel.
Can he talk?
For a while.
Bomb go off.
It didn't.
He's still out of his head.
Quiet, Cohen. Go on, Dr. Muller. What did you find?
A ship. A giant metal ship there under the lagoon.
A submarine?
No. It was a spaceship.
Spaceship?
Camouflaged right next to the reef. When we went inside, we found the Tahani chief and all the tribe. Alive.
What? They drowned in the lagoon. I saw them.
No, they didn't commit suicide as we thought. They just dived underwater into the rocket airlock.
Rocket? Airlocks? Now, look, Muller, I know you've suffered the shock, but...
But it's true.
It can't be.
Spaceship built by Polynesian savages.
But they're not savages. They're the Castaways. They're from another planet. Don't you understand? Their spaceship was wrecked here 400 years ago. They've been waiting ever since for a chance to go home.
He's out of his mind. Better give him a sedative, Doctor.
No, wait a minute, Colonel. Remember their story about the great bird canoe? Maybe there's something to the legend.
Not a legend. It's true. They'd exhausted their fuel, came down out of space, couldn't find anything here on Earth to replace their fuel source until we developed atomic power.
Atomic power? You mean they stole our bomb?
That's right. Fished it out of the lagoon, hauled it aboard.
Yes, but how could they convert it to atomic drive?
They made me dismantle it for them at the point of a gun. Then just before they blasted off, they let me go.
But what about the general?
Remember the Tahani curse?
I see. You mean they killed him?
You don't understand. I said I dismantled that bomb at the point of a gun. It was General Gaidash who was holding the gun.
What?
He was one of them, one of their spies, sent out to bring back the rocket fuel they needed. And the Tahani curse wasn't a curse at all. It said that when they left the island, so would he.
You mean he's with them now?
Yes. And after 400 years, the Castaways are going home.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X-1. Tonight, the Ray Bradbury story entitled, And the Moon Be Still as Bright.
The first 3 expeditions from Mars left Earth in a mushroom of flame, arced through the atmosphere, and finally dwindled to tiny specks in the big eye of the Mount Palomar telescope, and then were lost to sight forever. The prearranged landing signals flashed back to Earth, and then the radios went dead. One after the other, ships had disappeared and were never heard from again. But still the rockets came. The 4th expedition emerged from the silent gulfs of space, angled down toward the floating red disk of Mars, down into an orbit as the order came to land. The last blast of the bow jets broke red against the blue desert sands, and the ship slid to a halt at the edge of a vast city that reflected the icy glare of the moonlight. For a while, all was still.
All right, park you. Open the airlock.
Aye, sir.
Fresh air.
Hey, it's cold out here.
Who cares? We got here. I thought I'd never hit solid ground again.
Hey, how about a fire, Captain Wiley? It's freezing.
Later. We have work to do.
Oh, smell that air. Why, you could get drunk on it.
Say, there's an idea. Why don't we break out a bottle and celebrate?
Biggs, there will be no drinking done till we're secured.
But we're landed, Captain.
3 other expeditions landed and disappeared within 24 hours. Now, we're not relaxing security till we find out what happened to them.
What do you mean, maybe Martians?
Sender, you're an archaeologist. How old would you say they are?
I can't tell till I study them more closely. It's a kind of engineering we couldn't duplicate on Earth.
Well, I'm not interested in the architecture now. I want to make sure there's nothing there that might be dangerous. Mr. Hathaway.
Yes, sir?
I want you and Spender to take a reconnaissance party into the city and find out what's there. We set up camp here. No man is to go more than 50 feet from this rocket. And there'll be no celebration till Hathaway and his party report back.
In the sea bottoms, the wind stirred along faint vapors, and from the mountains, great stone visages looked upon the silvery rocket and the small fire. The sky was black overhead, as the 2 racing moons threw knife-edged double shadows on the desert.
All right, come and get it. Ciao.
Hey, what do you got there, Jerky?
Soda smothered in cold chicken fat.
Good. I thought it was something I couldn't eat.
Hey, Captain. Mr. Hathaway's back.
Oh, Captain Wilder.
Oh, yes, over here, Mr. Hathaway.
Well? Most of the city's dead. Spender says it's been dead a good many thousand years, but we found one part about a mile over
What
toward
about
the...
it?
People were living in it last week, sir.
People?
Martians.
Where are they now?
Dead. We found bodies, thousands of bodies. They hadn't been dead more than 10 days.
What did they die of?
You won't believe it.
What killed them?
Chicken pox.
Chicken pox?
Yes.
Where could they get chicken pox?
From Earth.
Oh, then the other rockets did get through.
Yes. I don't know what the Martians did to them, but I sure know what they did to the Martians. They gave them chicken pox and wiped them out. They just didn't have any resistance to an Earth disease.
Think of it, Captain. A race builds itself for 1 million years, refines itself, does everything it can to give itself respect and beauty, and then it dies. Of what? It's like saying the Greeks died of mumps or the proud Roman Empire collapsed because of athlete's foot. We didn't even give them a decent excuse for dying. We just gave them chicken pox.
Spender, get hold of yourself.
You didn't see those bodies, Captain.
Yes, I know. It must have been a shock. You need a rest, a little relaxation. The Martians are dead. There's nothing you can do about that now.
Hey, you hear that? The Martians are all dead. Come on, let's break out a bottle and whoop it up. Hey. How about a case, eh?
Oh, good Lord. They have to do that now? Isn't there time later to throw old beer cans into the canals?
Spender, you're an idealist. They're not. All they know now is that they're safe. A little shouting won't hurt. You think too much.
I was safe on Mars. The first Earthmen on Mars. We gotta celebrate.
Yahoo! 20 bottles were opened and drunk. The voices got louder. The earth laughs and shouts echoing across the empty Martian sands. Spender listened to the wind over his ears, cool and whispering. He felt the land getting cooler. The stars drew closer, very near. The air smelled clean and new. He looked at the cool ice of the white Martian buildings over there on the empty sea lands.
Oh, what a woman! Hey, what do we do with these empty bottles?
Save them, stupid. There's a 2-cent deposit.
Throw them away! Hey, wait. How about that building? 2 to 1 on a buck, I can heave one right through that window.
You're on.
All right, here goes. Oh, die! Hey, double it up with the next shot.
Put that bottle down, Biggs.
Who's there, Mr. Spender?
Stop smashing those windows.
What's the difference? The planet's ours now. I guess I can do anything with it I want.
Drop that bottle or I'll knock your teeth out.
Yeah? Just watch me.
I warned you.
Big.
Hey, come on.
What's going on here?
Spender! I hit him.
He's crazy, Captain. He just walked up and slugged me.
All right, Biggs. Spender, you come with me. Now, suppose you explain. What was the idea?
The noise, a drunken brawl.
And the men are tired. This has been a long trip. And you have a different way of seeing things.
Oh, I'm seeing things all right. I'm seeing how we'll ruin Mars. We'll rip it up and rip the skin off the way we've already ruined Earth.
Is that why you hit Biggs?
Yes. I couldn't stand the idea of them watching us make fools of ourselves.
Them?
The Martians.
They're dead. They're all dead.
But they know we're here. Doesn't an old thing always know when a new thing comes? We've come a long way to smash their windows and spit in their wine.
Well, maybe you're right. But I'm still going to fine you $50 for that fight. Now, come on, Spender. Suck in your chin. We'll go back there and play happy.
Now they moved out into the moonlight across the desert. They made their way into the dreaming, dead city. The light of the racing twin moons glinted on the barrel of a pistol, the long blade of a machete, the round, gurgling shape of a raised bottle. The wind blew in from the dead sea bottom and brushed through the silvery wire filigree of the towers. Strange music drifted down to the double-shadowed streets, a thin, haunted music that played as it had played through the uncounted years of time. Nobody moved. The moons held and froze them. The wind beat slowly around them.
Hey! Hey, you people in the city!
Biggs,
I just want to make a little noise. What kind of a celebration is this, anyway?
come on.
They built this city thousands of years ago. And now where are they? How did they die?
Who cares? They're dead. That's good enough for me.
Lord Byron.
What?
Lord Byron, a 19th century poet. He wrote a poem that fits this city. Might have been written by the last Martian poet. So we'll go no more a-roving so late into the night. Though the heart be still as loving, though the moon be still as bright. For the sword outwears its sheath, and the soul outwears its breast. And the heart must pause to breathe, and love itself must rest. Though the night was made for loving, and the day returns too soon, yet we'll go no more a-roving by the light of the moon.
Without a word, the Earthmen stood in the center of the city. It was a clear night. There was not a sound except the music of the wind. At their feet lay a tiled court, worked into the shapes of ancient animals and images. They stood there, silvered by the double moons beneath the crystal towers of Mars. And then Biggs was sick, and the sour stench of liquor filled the cool air. The men of Earth had come to Mars. And Spender turned and walked away into the city, alone in the moonlight, never once stopping to look back. It was a morning that might have been a Monday, or a Tuesday, or any day on Mars. Biggs was on the canal rim, his feet hung down in the cool water, soaking, while he took the sun in his face.
Hey, what are you doing back here, Biggs? Didn't you go out with the search party?
Yeah. I come back. I got a blister.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean? Look. Look, Cherokee, see that? Anyway, I had enough searching. 4 days hunting for that screwball Spender.
Didn't find him yet, huh?
Oh, good riddance. Oh, my feet. I'm going to soak them in the canal. If I was Wilder, I wouldn't worry about that nut Spender. Let him go. He's a crackpot anyway.
Well, he's a little foggy upstairs, I guess. Hey, why don't you take your feet out of that canal, Biggs? I got to make coffee out of that water.
Coffee? You call that stuff coffee? I had a motorcycle once that dripped grease that tasted better
Hey,
than
wait
that.
a minute, Biggs. Hey, look over there.
Where?
By that bush. There's someone there.
Hey.
It's him. Hey, Spender!
Spender?
He's coming over.
Why'd he stay lost, that crazy jerk?
Hi, Spender. Long time no see.
Hello, Cherokee. I have been exploring some ruins.
Oh, you and them ruins. You're like a dog in a boneyard. What's the matter? Why don't you just say something? Where you been?
Up in the hills. What would you say if I told you I found a Martian?
Oh, yeah?
Where? Never mind. Let me ask you a question. How would you feel if you were a Martian and people came to your land and started to tear it up?
Well, I know how I'd feel. I've got Cherokee blood in me. My grandfather told me a lot of things about the way they kicked the Indians around in the Oklahoma Territory. If there's any Martian around, I'm all for him.
How about you, Biggs?
They're dead. They're all dead. It's a good thing, too.
Well, I found a Martian. Up in a dead town in the hills. I've been reading their books, and they're easy to understand. And I've learned their language. And then I found this Martian. And I brought him here, now.
I don't see no Martian.
I'm the last Martian.
What did you say?
Biggs, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, cut it out. What kind of a lousy joke is that? Now, don't put that gun away. You're kidding, huh? Spender, you're...
He's dead. You killed him.
You can come with me, Cherokee. You're an Indian. You know how the Martians would feel. You can be with me in this.
You killed him. You just killed him.
He deserved it.
You're crazy.
Maybe I am. But you can come with me.
Come with you for what? Go on, get out of here, you crazy murderer.
Of all of them, I thought you'd understand. I thought you'd remember what happened to your own people.
Get out of here, you crazy murdering. Don't reach for the gun. Spender.
Hathaway, break out the arms locker. Issue pistols, rifles, and grenades.
Yes, sir.
And you'd better get the Bible out of the navigation chest. We have to bury these two. Parkler, you start digging a grave.
How about Spender?
We'll have to go up in the hills and find him.
Just let me at him with my bare hands, a crazy murdering louse.
That's enough, Parkler. The man is sick. He must be...
Sick my eye.
That's enough. Now grab a shovel and start digging.
Spender saw the thin dust rising in the valley, and he knew the pursuit was beginning. The sun burned farther up the sky, and the blue sand drifted lazily across the sea bottom below. He sat beside a quiet pool 10,000 years old and held the silver book. Through the house played the strange wind music of ancient Mars, and he heard voices whisper in his mind.
I hear you. I've always heard you, even down there on Earth. No, I won't run. What's the use?
Live, Earthman. Live.
Live? What for? To see them tear down your temples and put up hot dog stands?
Run.
They've seen me now. They know I'm up here. There's Wilder now. I've got him right in my sights.
Kill, Earthman. Kill.
Funny, he hasn't ordered them to use grenades. They could lob one right up here and blow me to bits. Maybe the captain thinks I'm too nice to be blown to bits. He wants my death to be clean. Just one bullet hole in me, nothing messy. And why? Because he understands me.
Kill.
The only one in the crew who ever did. Well, at least I can do the same for him. Just one bullet in his head, a nice clean death. All I have to do is pull the trigger and then... It's no use. I can't do it to him.
Spender! Can you hear me, Spender?
I hear you, Captain. What do you want?
Talk! Truce!
All right. Come on up. Leave your gun down there and keep your hands up.
Oh. That's quite a climb. You mind if I sit down? How long do you think you can hold out?
Until you're all dead.
Oh, why didn't you kill all of us this morning when you had the chance? You could have.
I know. I got sick. After I started killing people, I realized they were just fools and I shouldn't be killing them, but it was too late. So I came up here where I could get angry again.
Why did you do it?
When I was a kid, my folks took me to visit Mexico City. I'll always remember the way my father acted, loud and big. And my mother didn't like the people because she thought they didn't wash enough. I can see my mother and my father coming to Mars and acting the same way. Anything that's strange is no good to us. We aren't fit to take over this planet.
But to kill 2 men.
How would you feel if a Martian spit on the White House floor?
You know, you haven't acted very civilized yourself.
I'll kill you all off, Wilder. That'll delay the next rocket 5 years, and then I'll kill them, too. And if I'm lucky, I'll live to be 60. And I'll meet every expedition that lands on Mars. Oh, I'll be very friendly. I'll explain our rocket blew up one day. And then I'll kill them off. I'll save Mars for half a century. And by then, maybe the Earth people will give up.
And yet you're outnumbered. We already have you surrounded. In an hour, you'll be dead.
I found an underground passage that'll take me back in the hills, Wilder. I'll go back there. And then I'll pick you off one by one.
We'll see. Well, it's a nice town you've got here, Spender. It's beautiful. I'd like to live here.
You can. Join me. You're not like them. Why go back to them, Captain? I'll show you what a good life these people had.
No, there's too much Earth blood in me. I may even agree with you about all this, but that does not change what I must do.
You won't stay?
No. This is your last chance, Spender. Look, you're sick. Now come along with me quietly.
No. One last thing. If you win, do me a favor. Try to see that they don't tear this planet apart.
Right.
And if it helps, just think of me as a very crazy fellow who went berserk one summer day. Be easier on you that way.
Now I'll think that over. So long, Spender.
Bye, Captain. Good luck.
The men spread out again, walking and then running on the hot hillside places where there would be sudden cool grottos that smelled of moss, and sudden open blasting places that smelled of sun or stone. The men ran and ducked and ran and squatted in the shadows.
I'll blow his brains!
Captain Wilder hugged the rock warmed by the sun. He gasped, for the air was thin and not meant for running. Spender lay at the top of the hill, and a gap in the rocks showed the white of his shirt against the shadows. Wilder looked at the towers of the little, clean Martian village, like sharply carved chess pieces lying in the afternoon. He saw the rocks, and the interval between, where Spender's chest was revealed.
Go on, Spender. Get out. We've only got a few seconds to escape. Go on, get out of the caves. Come back later. You go now. I've got to win this. I've got to think that I'm right and pull this trigger. Go now. Get out.
I'll get him! A slug in the head, I'll blow his bloody brains!
No, Parkhill! Put down that gun. I'll do this myself. Spender. Why didn't you get out? Why? Why? Why?
They buried him in that ancient valley town, where the music of the wind played on through the days and the nights. They laid him in an ancient silver sarcophagus with waxes and wines which were 10,000 years old, his hands folded on his chest. The last they saw of him was his peaceful face in the cold silver light of the racing twin moons. The captain found the poem in Spender's pocket, and he read it before he shut the marble door.
So we'll go no more a-roving so late into the night. Though the heart be still as loving, and the moon be still as bright. Though the night was made for loving, and the day returns too soon, yet we'll go no more a-roving by the light of the moon.
The next afternoon, Parkhill did some target practice in one of the dead cities, shooting out the crystal windows and blowing the tops off the fragile towers. Captain Wilder caught Parkhill and nearly knocked his teeth out.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you the Ray Bradbury story, And the Moon Be Still as Bright, adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were John Larkin, Clark Gordon, Dick Hamilton, Nelson Olmsted, Lawrence Kerr, and Stan Early. Your narrator was Norman Rose. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production. X-1.
Just 75 miles from Euclidia, one of the rocket planes of the Euclidean scientists is down in the water. This should not prove very serious under ordinary conditions, but something went wrong with the plane. The instruments have failed. And now, even the gas-filled bulkheads which were designed to keep the strange craft afloat have proven worthless. Captain Bradford, Jerry Hall, Cheops, and Thales are helpless in the water as their craft is slowly sinking. On board a Euclidean submarine racing to their aid on the surface of the water are Joan Gregory and the Euclidean girl commander. They are within a few miles of Jerry, the captain, and the two Euclideans who were with them, but it seems as if even this short distance may be too great. The captain and Jerry have a mighty serious problem on their hands.
I think this portion of the plane will float for a few minutes at least.
It better float. We're a long swim from anywhere.
The chances are that this section will stay where it is for some time, and there's no use pulling it underwater until we have to. Now, look, let's all let loose and float in the water where we can reach out and grab that thing if we need it.
Okay, Tex. I'm floating now.
Hello, over there on the other side. Here, Thales.
Yes, Captain Bradford.
We are here.
Are you hanging on to the ship?
We are.
Better let go and give the wreck a chance to stay afloat as long as it will. We might need to climb up on it.
Yeah. We might find a couple of hungry sharks around here.
I am sorry, Captain. It will be impossible for me to release my hold on the wreckage.
Why is that impossible?
I cannot swim.
What? You can't swim?
I cannot swim.
I am in the same predicament. I cannot swim.
Oh, gee, this is swell, Jerry.
Yeah. Just dandy. Here we are floating around in the Pacific Ocean with a sinking ship and two fellows who can't swim.
And we're all right as long as this wreck stays above water, but those air tanks were all cracked up when we hit, and seams will be opening up any minute.
And when that happens, you and I'll have to try to swim and keep those two above water at the same time.
Right, that's about the size of it, Jerry. You just take care of yourself. I can handle them. They don't lose their heads.
Oh, no, you don't. I can swim as long as you can. We'll take one of those fellows and we'll keep them afloat if we have to put them to sleep.
Right. You men work your way around to our side of this thing.
Very well, Captain. Yes. Coming.
How soon do you think that submarine can get to us, Tex?
No way of telling, Jerry. I don't know what speed it's making or exactly how far we are from the position of Euclid.
Just to make it real nice, the submarine skipper isn't exactly sure where to look for us.
This is rather an unusual situation, is it not, Captain Bradford?
Well, you might call it that.
It's a situation that wouldn't happen to us if those Euclidean rocket ships were as flame perfect as you claimed they were.
That is true.
You are in a position of advantage now, Hall. You may think your remarks well advised, but let me warn you that once we are back in Euclidia, steps will be taken to curb your tongue.
Now, before you worry about taking any steps to do anything thus, you'd better give a little thought to saving yourselves. This boat won't float for more than a few minutes more. And when it goes down, we'll swim. Swim and float and tread water. And then swim and float some more. Possibly for hours until that rescue submarine locates us and picks us up.
I have told you. I've told you twice that I do not swim.
Then you don't give any orders. Tex and I can swim and hold you two above water for a little while. If you do as you're told.
We'll know how to obey orders.
I suppose you practice it right now. Might save a lot of trouble when the time comes.
What is to be done?
Drop your grip on the side of this boat and turn over on your backs.
Turn on our backs in the water?
Sure. Turn over on your back. Here, Daly. Give me your hand. Now, don't try to push me through the bottom of the ocean. Just put your hand on my arm.
In this manner?
Yeah, that'll do.
Now, you do the same, Cheops.
Very well.
Now, turn over on your back. And try lying as flat as possible in the water. Oh, don't worry about your nose. I'll keep it above water.
Very well.
You'll do the same thing, Daly.
I do not feel any particular confidence in you, Hall.
Then you know how I felt about you all the time. You'd better either get some confidence in me or learn to swim.
I will attempt to turn over on my back.
Come on. There you are. That wasn't so hard, was it?
It's just a ridiculous position for a scientist.
Maybe, but if Jerry lets your head go into water, your position would be a lot more ridiculous.
I would suggest, Bailey, that you remain silent and be thankful these men are human fish.
It's a good idea, Cheops. Now, you're doing all right with your floating. Now, both of you know how it's done. Here, flop over right side up again and rest on this boat as long as you can.
How about it, Skipper? Will they do?
I think we can handle them, son. If they behave that well after the boat's gone down.
You have no fear of our behavior, have you?
We haven't any fear. But you'd better have it. If Tex and I get tired swimming around with you.
We'll do exactly as ordered.
That may save you a lot of trouble. Well, it looks like we've done all we can until the commander arrives with her submarine.
How do you estimate the distance separating us from our rescuer?
I don't. I couldn't even guess.
Well, at least we can't see anything of her submarine. And she said she'd be on the surface.
The submarine which the commander is using will project only 10 feet above the water under ordinary conditions.
10 feet. Plus a little if she's riding high and fast.
Yes. If the craft is making its best possible speed, it will stand less than 15 feet above water.
How far over the water can you see something? Only 15 feet high.
It's likely less than 5 miles, isn't it, Cheops?
Yes. Precisely.
If the submarine is proceeding at top speed, it will not be visible to us until within 180 to 240 seconds run of our position.
Oh, boy. That's too blame close. If we can't see her any better at that, she can't see this thing half that far. She might run on past us and never know it.
Yes, that is indeed possible.
Let's break a piece out of the top of this ship and get it up into the air now.
That is impossible, Captain. While the construction of this rocket plane has proven inadequate as a protection against a forced landing, you will find it much too strong to be torn apart with the hands.
I suppose so.
And of course, the blame thing turned upside down, so we can't get at the door.
That is another weakness we will remember and remedy when construction of more of these ships is done.
Better fix plenty of these things before you build any more of these. Hey, Tex, look over there.
Where, Jerry? Where?
Look, where I'm pointing. Can't you see something on top of the water?
I can, plainly.
Yes, I should say that was a submarine running on the surface.
Get away from this boat, everybody, quick. She's sinking.
Oh, boy. Sure is.
Do we turn over now?
You doing fast. Grab Thales, Jerry. Let's swim out a few strokes. This thing's going to pull plenty when she goes down.
Right. Turn over, Thales. Now keep your mouth shut. Here we go.
You all right, Jerry?
Yep. I'm okay.
Able to get your breath, Cheops?
I'm suffering no discomfort.
How are you doing, Thales?
I do not care for this position being pulled about by my head as a fish on a line. However, it will suffice.
You'd better. You'd feel like a fish without any water if I let go of you.
Jerry, that is a submarine. She isn't over half a mile away.
Oh, but it looks like she's running away from us.
I'm afraid she hasn't seen us yet.
Hey, Commander. Hey, the sub. Hey.
Please, exercise greater care, Hall. You nearly let my head sink when you thrashed around in that manner.
Yeah, I've got it. Let me take both of them, Jerry. Here, you men put your hands on my shoulder. Easy now. Okay, son. Now rise up in the water as far as you can and wave your arms.
Okay. It's no use, Tex. She doesn't see us.
Yes, she does, Jerry. She's putting about.
I can't see where that sub's getting any closer.
Well, you won't for a few minutes, probably. She was going at a terrific clip. It'll take her some time to swim around. Get over here to us.
Are you sure that that's the Euclidean submarine?
No doubt of that. Nothing else on the water today could make that kind of speed.
If it is the commander, she will reach us quickly.
Yes, that boat will describe a very small arc and lose headway rapidly.
It's doing that all right. Golly whiskers, Tex. Look at that thing come.
Out of sight, Jerry. That girl has straightened it out and heading right for us.
It would be well to signal that she is not to run near us at too great a speed. I imagine that our position would not be too comfortable if the water was rough.
You might get part of the ocean in your nose, but we could roll that out of you later.
That will not be necessary. The commander is far too clever to endanger a life she is attempting to save.
You're right again, Caps. Sub is going to come gliding up to us here without even muscling the water.
How are we going to board that blame thing?
It will not be difficult, I think.
No, Jerry. Remember how the nose of those subs open?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, look, now, Jerry, look. That boat's only 100 yards from us. The stern is slowly settling under. She drifts up.
I believe the commander will submerge the stern, bring the prow of the submarine to our immediate position in an upward manner, and admit us through the bow airlock.
That's it. It's getting closer. Don't wiggle out, Bailey. I'll try to keep the water out of your face.
I will not move.
Now only the nose of the sub is sticking up out of the water. It's drifting quietly towards us. How that girl can handle that submarine.
She sure is good at it. Hey, in the sub there. You're close enough. Don't push us around with that thing.
Can you see which side the nose is hinged on, Jerry?
Yeah, right the way it's drifting.
And be sure and stay out from under. You might get hurt when it opens.
I'll watch it.
All right, Caps. Turn over now and take hold of the edge of this hatchway.
Oh, I will do so.
You too, Staley. Get yourself a good tight hold there.
Can you find a handhold, Jerry?
Sure. I'm fine.
We are indeed safe.
Oh, Jerry, are you ready?
Joan, what are you doing here?
Hello, Joan. We're all right.
Come aboard quickly. You must be in need of it.
We could sure use it.
You, Bailey, to aboard this vessel first and report to the commander in the central control section.
Do you presume to issue orders to me?
Those are the orders of the commander.
Very well. I shall be pleased enough to be aboard.
Well, I'll give you a hand. Up you go. You'll be sort of pleased to catch you off my hands, too.
Can you make it?
I'm nearly within the submarine.
All right, you're next, Caps. Right, Joan?
That is correct, Captain.
Hurry up, Caps. I'm getting tired of this water.
I am making all possible speed.
Does Mrs. Gregor on board the sub with you, Joan?
No, Captain Badger's mother was resting when we left Euclidia. She does not know of the danger you and Jerry have been in.
That's good. All right, Jerry, in you go.
Oh, you first, Tex.
Orders, Jerry.
All right, Skipper. In I go, then.
Jerry?
Nothing but my feelings. I've been holding up that guy Daly's for a long time.
Now, Captain, the way is clear for you.
I'll be right away, Joan. Right in.
Will you please follow the others to the central section? The commander has some hot liquid ready for you. I will remain here to close the port.
I'll help you, Joan.
No, off you go, Captain. It's orders, sir.
Aye, aye, Skipper.
Now, I will close the port, and we will return to Euclidia at once.
The Euclidean submarine, carrying the 4 men who were forced down on a test flight of a rocket plane, has landed them safely in the city of Euclidia. The 2 Euclidean scientists, Cheops and Thales, have gone to their own quarters, and the girl submarine commander is reporting the rescue to G-47. In the quarters of the Gregory party, we find our friends very happy over the reunion. Tex and Jerry are dressed in warm, dry clothing. Joan and her mother question them about their flight in the rocket plane.
But it must have been terribly dangerous, Tex.
Oh, we've been in worse places.
Well, I never have.
No, Jerry. Your position at the time that rocket plane fell helpless into the water would seem to be about the worst possible situation.
And Tex knows it was. He just doesn't like to worry us.
Nothing to worry about. Those Euclideans had a flying machine that would fly after a fashion, but when their power failed them and the gas tanks developed a leak, they didn't know what to do.
They sure didn't. And you did. I guess these Euclideans have too many fancy instruments and gadgets on everything. They forget how to do anything themselves.
But they've been so careful to preserve their natural sense of proportion about other things. Those rooms they keep noisy and the small farm they have here. All such things are maintained to keep them in tune with the normal way of doing things.
Even so, Mother, the failure of this rocket plane flight is an example of what the captain means. The Euclideans do depend entirely too much on their instruments.
Yeah, that's right, Joan. The air isn't the best place in the world for that. Things happen pretty fast when you start falling out of the air. The man who flies only by instruments hasn't time to stop and remember how they used to do it in the old days.
Well, one thing is sure. If Tex hadn't known plenty about flying, we'd have hit that water so hard that the rocket plane would have gone straight through to the other side.
Jerry, that is not possible.
Well, maybe not, but we'd have hit plenty hard just the same.
Yeah, but we didn't, so let's stop worrying about it.
Yes, we may as well drop it. When Tex gets that "I don't want to be interviewed, it was only a routine flight" look on his face, there's nothing more to be had from him.
Well, one thing we learned, and it ought to help us a lot.
What was that?
Oh, there's plenty of things wrong with that rocket ship, and if G-47 keeps his promise to let Tex work on them, he'll have plenty of time to plan our escape from here before he's through.
Careful, Jerry.
You need have no further worry about being overheard.
No, don't be too sure, Joan. Remember how Thales talked to us through that radio speaker they installed for us? How easy it was for him to hear our conversation in the control room?
Golly, Whiskers, that's right.
We have no further need for caution in our conversation in these quarters. I am positive of that.
You seem sure of yourself, Joan, but I'm afraid the rest of us don't share your confidence in the matter.
Perhaps you have not learned all that I have had proven to me.
Well, giggling goldfish, don't act so blame mysterious about everything. What do you know that we don't?
You are impatient, Jerry.
Well, Joan, for once I think Jerry is justified. Our position here is not so enviable that we can afford any secrets from each other.
I am sorry, Captain. I will explain.
Please do, dear, at once.
As you know, I rode with the girl commander as she took that submarine to your rescue.
She did a swell job of it, too. Gee, Mrs. Gregory, if you could have seen the way that girl...
Jerry Hall, I am trying to explain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The commander and I had a splendid opportunity for conversation as we searched for you on the surface of the water. One of the things I learned is that the Euclideans believe our position to be so absolutely hopeless that they are removing all guards assigned to spy on our movements and discussions.
Well, that'll help a lot if you're sure of it.
I am quite sure of it, Captain. However, I think it wise to exercise some little caution when discussing matters of importance.
I agree with that.
Oh, me too.
What else did you learn, Joan, dear?
The other item is particularly interesting and possibly important to us. The commander will be sent in here to share these quarters with us.
That girl, Commander?
Yes.
Why, I thought you said these Euclideans weren't going to bother to watch us so closely after
They
this.
are not.
Well, looks to me like they're putting a spy right under the dining room table.
Sure looks that way to me.
It certainly does.
It means nothing of the kind. The commander will be one of us, a prisoner, no longer a Euclidean.
Why, Joan, dear, do you realize what you're saying?
Of course, Mother.
But what's it all about?
Well, I got an idea from something she said to Joan and me. G-47 found out she helped us escape from that island. I'll bet that's it.
That is the answer. G-47 knows that the commander helped us at the time we put the scientists to sleep in the laboratory with the captain's gas formula.
And she's being stripped of her high command in the Euclidean fleet?
She is.
Oh, golly whiskers. That makes one more for our side. And that girl knows a lot about this place.
She certainly does. This may be a help to us.
It seems incredible.
Hey, that's the word I was trying to remember.
The girl is so valuable to these Euclideans. She's the finest submarine commander they have. I wonder if it isn't some sort of a trick.
I know it is not. In talking with the commander, I could see that she is deeply interested in learning something of the ways of our world. I described to her some of the pleasant things I had seen during my brief visit to Los Angeles, and her face positively shone with excitement.
Excitement? That girl got excited?
She did.
Oh, that's almost too much.
Yes, that girl is the coolest person in an emergency that I've ever seen. And if she was excited about the prospects of becoming one of us, she must be in earnest about it.
She was very much in earnest. I hope you will not object, Mother, but I promised her that you would allow her to wear one of your dresses so that she might see how it would change her appearance.
Of course she may wear one of my dresses, or all of them for that matter. Hasn't she ever worn anything but that uniform of Euclidean cloth?
Nothing. The commander was born on Euclidia, and except for ocean voyages, has spent her entire 22 years here.
Gee whiz. 22 years in this place.
Seems pretty terrible to us, son, but I suppose you can get used to anything. Especially if you don't know what to do about changing your position.
Oh, I'm anxious to see her. When will she arrive?
I believe within a very short time.
Tex, will you help me?
Well, sure. Doing what, Pat?
Well, let's fix up the little room next to mine. The one you have your instruments in.
Yes, that's probably the room they figured on her using.
I presume it is, as that is the only vacant room in these quarters.
Come on, Tex. We'll put it in order.
This is certainly a surprising angle to run into.
Gee whiz, Joan. This is the weirdest thing I ever heard of. One of the Euclideans coming over to our side.
Jerry.
Huh?
Do you like the commander so very much?
Oh, sure. I told you she was a friend of ours.
I do not mean that. I mean, do you like her as well as you like me?
Oh, Joan, stop that silly stuff, will you? You women are all alike. Sure, I like her. She's a mighty pretty girl, and well, so are you.
Am I pretty, Jerry?
Yes, you're pretty, Jerry.
Now, stop worrying about that girl. Why, she's 22 years old. I guess she won't have much time for me.
But would you like her to have time for you?
Joan, will you stop acting like a baby? Oh, I bet that's her now.
I suppose it is.
Come in.
It is I.
Hello, Commander. Come in and make yourself at home.
It is indeed unfortunate that I must disturb you in this manner.
We do not mind.
Well, I'll say we don't. We're tickled to death. Here, sit down.
Thank you. I suppose Joan has told you that I am to be one of you?
Joan? Did you call her Joan?
That is the name she will use in your world. I am now of that world.
Thank you, Commander.
Well, wait a minute, then. You're not going to be called Commander anymore, either. What's your real name?
I anticipated such a question, and I am ready and willing to enter your ways in all things. I have my record from the Euclidean personnel file. My worldly name is Elaine Raleigh.
Elaine. Gee, that's a pretty name.
Elaine is a nice name. Do you think you will like it?
I may as well like it.
Well, look, Commander, Elaine, that's swell. Now, there's one more thing I wish you'd do for us. Stop talking like a Euclidean and talk like we do.
Perhaps the command... Elaine is able to speak no other way.
To be sure I am.
Oh, boy. Did you hear that, Joan?
Naturally.
Well, it may be natural to you, but it sure surprised me.
The Euclideans have found it necessary, for numerous reasons, to develop a unique speech which will hide their true identities in time of need. But we are also constantly trained in using a manner of speech suitable to your world, so that we may not attract undue attention when moving in your world on secret missions.
Well, I sure like your voice a lot better this way.
It is indeed more pleasant.
Gee, Joan, you know, you sound more like a Euclidean than the commander.
Perhaps I do. I have had no training in any other manner of speech.
Well, you just stick around Elaine and me. We'll teach you how to talk.
Jerry.
One thing that I cannot understand, Jerry. Do many people in your world prattle on endlessly about meaningless things as you do?
Oh, I'm not so bad.
You speak far too much and say too little. Yet you seem sensible, and I have seen evidence of your intelligence.
In the world which Jerry knows, it is not considered necessary to wear a mask of science in order to display intelligence.
Oh, gee, thanks, Joan. You sure can make words get up and dance for you.
Well, I see that our latest edition has arrived. Welcome to the prisoners section, Commander.
I am grateful for the privilege, Captain.
Hey, Elaine, forget that commander stuff and talk to the captain like you did us.
It is not easy to change a habit so deeply ingrained.
Hello. Say, that's a surprise.
It was also a surprise to us, Captain.
So, this Euclidean manner of speech is only disguise, as Joan tried to explain to us.
Precisely, Captain Bradford. G47 has felt that we should be able to go into the world without exciting any suspicion.
Well, I like this way of talking a whole lot better.
So do I, Jerry. We've heard about enough of that high-pitched, whining voice Euclideans affect.
Your natural manner of speaking is much more pleasant to the ear. Sorry to keep you waiting, Commander, but we had used the extra room here as a storeroom, and I was clearing it out for you. That is quite all right, Mrs. Gregory. Tex, did you hear that?
Sure, I heard it, Pat. The commander has a perfectly good voice, which he's been hiding under that nasal whine of the Euclideans.
Well, that certainly is a relief. You're welcome to our party, Commander. Thank you.
The commander will now be known by her worldly name, Elaine.
Elaine. What a pretty name. And you're very lovely, my dear, now that you've dropped your Euclidean manner.
Boy, I think she's keen.
Jerry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I should like to see you in one of my dresses. I would enjoy that.
Hold it. There's the dinner bell.
It is indeed the signal for the evening meal.
You are forgetting again.
It is stupid of me. I will not forget often.
Well, now, don't you worry about that, Elaine. Look, let's all gather around that table, which is in the habit of coming up through the floor just along about this time.
Oh, it's right on the dot. Here it comes.
I am happy to see that you have real food in here. Did you have to eat that concentrated food? Most of the time.
Oh, we've got a lot of things you'll like.
Well, now, look, let's talk about them after we eat. I'm hungry.
I am sure you will be happy with Mother and her friends, Elaine. They know and do so many lovely things in their world.
I am sure you are correct, Joan.
Oh, it is so pleasant to hear you call me Joan. I hope I never hear the name Cleostra again.
Well, Tex, our family has grown. Will you serve, Elaine?
Is an adventure of the mind. We don't know very much about the mind. A lot less than the psychologists pretend they do. In particular, we know very little about those peculiar qualities of mind that have made it possible for some individuals to see things at a great distance, either in space or in time. But these incidents have happened.
Our father's room, Captain Thompson. Just make yourself comfortable.
You let me know.
Of course, the minute there's any news. Now, don't worry. Your wife will be fine. Would you like a cup of coffee, Captain? You look rather worn out.
No, thanks. Oh, yes, I would like a cup, thanks. I haven't had time to eat since yesterday.
Well, just sit down and I'll be right back with one.
You do look bleached, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the glare from that lamp.
First kid?
Yes.
Oh, well, you have 3 of them like I have.
I was out at the base, started for town here as soon as she phoned. She was leaving for the hospital, but it still takes 40 minutes to get in.
You part of that rocket business?
The space medicine experimental.
See, is that where they're using you guys as guinea pigs? I read they were even trying telepathy.
I'm sorry, I can't talk about it.
Oh, but I read it in the paper.
Well, I'm sorry, I still can't talk about it. Doesn't that doctor have anything to do but stand around and wait? I'm going to talk to him.
Oh, relax, you can't do anything. Here, the doctors can do something, even the nurses can do something. Fathers can't do anything. You might as well get used to it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Why don't you try to get some sleep? Close your eyes and lean back. Might be hours yet.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Oh. It's good to have my eyes closed. 28 hours. Tension, emotion. New technique.
Here's a nice hot cup of coffee for you, Captain.
Oh, he's conked out already. Maybe you just better let him sleep.
No mental barrier. Future.
He seems to be dreaming. I never saw a man look so worn out.
Go back into the woods.
No point in waking him.
No, leave him be.
Get the kids and the old people back. You hear me? Over there. Get them back. Back.
Over there by that brush pile. I seen him go down. There. What'd I tell you? Thompson. Holly, you hit one.
What?
It's me, Gladden, and Diego. Don't you know us? Hey, look what he's for, Diego. He must have run spank into a tree limb.
Where am I? What's going on?
Oh, he really gave himself a knock. Hey, come on. Hey, let's see those woods again. We gotta get out of here. You grab hard, Diego. Them bugs will be in here in 15 minutes.
What?
You just heard us hurry up and go. Leave no time to talk now. Pretty good, eh? We all just sort of stumbled onto it.
Sit down, Harvey. Bandage that head of yours while we talk. Clanton, tell her about your end of it first.
Well, I left you with your covering guard. Moved the rest all back through the brush, Harvey. We didn't have a bit of trouble at all. When I got the men flung around this spot here, it's a natural for defense, Harvey. There's trees so thick you can't see through them unless they come over a treetop height. Then I went back to see about you and the boys, and I met Corshank and Swenson. They told me Talbot and Guido was burned, and you was lost.
Hey, you came for me?
Diego, he was still there looking around for you. I just helped him, that's all. And just as we found you, a patrol of the bugs came along the road there, at the edge of the woods, shooting into it. You know how to do. Hold still. Anyhow, we set up camp here. No, we're a bit too far back in, safe enough for an hour or two.
There, that fixes you. Now, about my end of it, Harvey. I had the women, children, the old people rounded up before the patrol that spotted us hit. I don't think the Kinoys even had a chance to count us. I don't think they even guessed us to be a party as large as we are. After all, they've cleaned up everything but a few stragglers south of the Great Lakes and west of Denver. Anyway, I got them all back through the woods, and I've set up a separate camp for them about 500 yards back in. Your dad was a big help, by the way. He practically carried your wife most of the trip. I'm afraid it was maybe too much for him.
My wife?
Now, sit where you are. You can't do anything about her anyway. There's no reason to expect complications. She had your first son without trouble, didn't she?
Yeah, but that was in the hospital.
Will you forget your wife for 5 minutes? There's 238 other people here who need you right now. I was giving my report.
Go on.
Better. Now, the old people are tired, and so are the kids. But the kids will recover. We've got straight woods behind us, and there's about a 4-day supply of food left. The question is, can we make the Quetico in that time?
My men can get along right well on half rations.
Fighting and night marching all the way? And what about my bunch? The young women and the older kids will be all right. The younger kids we can take turns carrying, but the older men and women...
Maybe they won't chase us clear to where the old Canadian border used to be. We hit thick brush before that.
You know they will. We have to go deep into the north woods or they'll follow us. That's what's behind this whole Kinoid offensive. They've got to exterminate us inside of the next few years, or their own mutated virus diseases will win the war for us. Half the last few Kinoids have been sick and dying.
I wish I was sure that is you are, Maria.
Well, if I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. Here's a map. Now, here we are now, Harvey. 60 miles from the border.
Yes, I see. Well, what do you want me to do?
Do? Are you sick, Harvey? You're in command of this group. Or did that hit on the head knock your brains completely silly? You ought to tell us what to do, Clanton and me with our groups.
But it must be my head. I don't seem to remember. If you could just let me think for a while.
Think? We've got 2 hours until sundown. And if you want to survive, we've got to head for the border tonight. Are you telling us you aren't fit to command this bunch of ours?
I'm sorry.
All right. You better take over, Clanton.
Why not you?
You know I can't handle the men. Well, we'll get your group and my group moving as fast as the sun's down. They've all been fed. But Harvey, whatever's wrong with you, you better get over it quick. Because there's 239 people here who'll never reach Quetico without you in charge. I promise you that. I wish we could move the group by road or across farmland.
Why not?
Why not? You want the Kinoids to spot us.
Maria, what are the Kinoids?
You know, I do believe you mean that.
I do.
I never heard of amnesia like this before. Look, you know you're Harvey Thompson, don't you?
Yes.
And you know we're in what used to be Minnesota, heading north on foot toward the Quetico Superior National Forest on the Canadian border, don't you?
Yes.
But you don't know the Kinoids spotted our first attempts at space flight and moved in to wipe us out.
No. But why did they?
Why, they're from Alpha Centauri, the nearest sun with inhabitable planets by our standards. We'd have headed there next.
Well, couldn't anyone explain to them that we wouldn't take their world?
Wouldn't we? What makes you so sure? Anyway, this is the way it worked out. Now, if little groups like ours can survive long enough, the Kinoids will be decimated by their own mutated diseases. They'll have to pull back. We can build again and then go after them.
Are they really bugs?
Oh, it's just a name some soldiers gave them. No, they're almost human, but not quite. Now do you remember?
I don't know.
Harvey, I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm fond enough of you to want you whole and sensible again for your own sake, aside from...
Aside from what, Maria?
Aside from the fact that there's only one man in this group that all the rest will obey without question, and that's you. So far, Clanton and I haven't told anyone that you aren't still giving the orders. Think about that, Harvey. Because if you can't pull us through to safety, nobody can. Remember that.
Oh, Maria, where's my wife? I haven't had a chance to see her.
No time for that now. Clanton just came in. We're all ready for that council that you called.
Council?
Come on. These people can't know yet you're not directing them. Sit down, Harvey. How are the men, Clanton?
Worn out. How are the non-combatants?
Too tired to eat breakfast, most of them. I've left orders for them all to get something in them before they try to sleep. Your wife and son are fine, Harvey. She walked part way and rode in the litter when she got tired. Your father is in much worse shape. He'll insist on helping her.
Scouts are back in. Got a little stretch of open territory ahead. No way to avoid it.
Kinoids waiting for us?
That's right. About a patrol. They couldn't have figured we'd come this way or there'd be more. As it is, we got to get to them fast. They'll be calling for help.
How fast?
You ready to take over, Harvey?
I just wondered, how fast?
15 minutes, if we're lucky. And there's 300 yards of open to cross. Then we're in thick brush for at least 10 miles.
Well, it's best, I suppose, to hit them at twilight. They won't come after us in the dark?
Not in the brush. Not even with air sport.
What's the ground like?
Give me this stick here. The woods juts out like this, and it's meadow both sides. From this point to where they're sitting.
What's that drumming mean?
Nothing. They do that morning, noon, and evening when there's nothing else to do.
What's been in position?
I got them laid out in the grass in a half circle, like you said. Halfway clear around them bugs.
All right, give me the whistle. Close with them! Close with them! Use your knife!
Yes. Clanton, would you mind letting us talk by ourselves for a minute? I want a private word with Harvey.
All right with me.
What is it?
You have to move the group right away?
Yes, why?
Some of mine can't.
Well, how bad are they?
Pretty bad. They need a day or two of complete rest. Right now.
We can't wait, Maria. We just can't.
That's what I was afraid of.
The Kinoids will be right at our backs at dawn. If they can keep after us and harry us, they'll wear us all down eventually. And we can't go on fighting for every little clearing. We've got to lose them now. But who is it? Which ones can't go on? Not the children. Not my boy.
No. Not your wife or your boy or any of that group. They've all been worn down by this march, but they're young enough to bounce back. It's the old people that don't.
The old?
Yes. We've got 10 older women, 3 older men, including your father, Harvey. They can't go any farther.
Well, not Dad, but he's in good shape for his age.
That's just it. For his age. Under ordinary conditions, you don't notice how quickly an old person tires because they're always catching little rests. On a march like this, though...
We can't just leave them. We can't...
I'm sorry, Harvey. Their lives or the rest of the group. And you're in command.
But the Kinoids would find them before noon tomorrow, and old people with nothing to defend themselves with. The older people have sons and daughters in the group, too. They'd never stand for abandoning their parents.
It's up to you. Harvey, I'm sorry. If you want me, I'll be over there with Clanton.
No, I can't. It'll be kinder to kill them ourselves and to let the Kinoids... Dad, how can I?
Wake up. Captain Thompson, wake up.
Huh? What's that?
You've been sleeping. You were having some nightmare there.
Oh. What is it, nurse?
A boy, Captain Thompson. You're the father of a boy.
Oh. I have to carry him. Oh, that's the older one. He's all right. Pardon me, I'm still groggy, I guess. A boy. Where is he? How's my wife?
Oh, your wife's just fine. She's still in recovery, and you can talk to her in a few minutes.
Oh, good.
Your son's in an incubator. He's just a little bit lightweight. You can see him in a minute, too. And
Good.
the doctor will talk to you shortly, but will you come down the hall right now, and we'll get the birth certificate filled out?
Oh, sure.
You can sit right there, Captain Thompson, on the side of the desk. Now, what name have you and your wife picked out for your son?
Name? Let's see. Oh, yes, Harvey. Harvey Walter Thompson, Jr.
Harvey Walter... Captain Thompson?
Yes?
Well, Captain Thompson, of course we'll put down whatever you want, but I notice on the admittance slip here your wife's name's down as Mrs. John W. Thompson. Your name is...
John, that can't be right. Now, Harvey was my wife's choice. She had the name all... My name is John.
Well, yes, that's what we have down here on the admittance slip.
My son's name is Harvey.
Just plain Harvey Walter Thompson, no junior. It's easy to be confused. You'd be surprised at some of the fathers. Captain Thompson, are you all right?
All right. I'm all right.
Well, then if you'll sign here.
Yes.
And now it's official. You've got a son to take care of you in your old age, Captain Thompson.
Yes. To make the decision. Men first, scientists later. The fact of being a man means that they have human emotions, human needs, wills, desires. It's hard for a scientist, as it is for any other man, to see his whole life orientations, his deepest beliefs, knocked flat. When Einstein's theories of relativity were first established, there was one of the major astrophysicists who committed suicide. All he believed had been demolished. Are our scientists to be expected to be any more able to take the shattering blow that the reality of clairvoyance would mean than the other people of our society? There have been incidents, but the scientists don't like them. I don't think any of us do, but they're there.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message. Fellas and girls, don't ever get the idea there's nothing you can do to help win this war. Just because you can't join the Army or Navy doesn't mean that you can't be part of this big fight to preserve the American way of life. No, sir, not at all. There is one big important thing you can do, and I'm going to tell you about that right now. You see, aside from the fact that we can't all be soldiers, sailors, or Marines, because we're too young or too old or something, it's necessary for a good many of us to stay right here where we are. As a matter of fact, Uncle Sam says that for every man in the armed forces, there must be 11 people back home to keep them well supplied and to see that everything runs smoothly. It's sort of like a civilian army that cooperates with the armed forces to help win the war. And that's where you come in, you and I. For we're all members of this civilian army. And the best way we can help our boys at the front is to buy war-saving stamps and bonds and buy them regularly. How does that help? Well, let me tell you. It helps to buy guns and tanks and planes and all the other things the Army, Navy, or Marines need to knock out the Japs and the Nazis. For instance, every time you buy a 10-cent war-saving stamp, your dime will pay for 5 bullets. And every 5 10-cent stamps buys enough fuel oil to carry a destroyer a full mile. So you see how important it is for you to buy a war-saving stamp every time you've got a dime. Now see if you can't get Mother or Dad to give you a dime every day or every other day with which to buy war-saving stamps. Talk about this with all your friends. Ask them to buy war-saving stamps regularly. Ask your mother and dad and all your neighbors and relatives to sign Minuteman pledges. Do all that you possibly can to build up the sale of war-saving stamps and bonds. And that is what you can do to help win this war. And now, the adventures of Superman. Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, Lois Lane, girl reporter, and Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, are about to start on a trip into the vast wilderness of the Hudson Bay region of northern Canada. In our last episode, we heard how Perry White received a letter from an old French-Canadian friend of his, Sebastian Beauvais, who owns a hunting lodge in the Hudson Bay region. The letter begged White to come at once and hinted that Sebastian was in grave trouble. It was decided on the spur of the moment that Kent and Lois would go along. They would need warm clothes, of course, to withstand the 0 temperatures of the frozen north, and so they decided to go to a nearby sporting goods shop to buy them. Just as they were about to leave the office, a small package was delivered to Perry White. He opened it, suddenly turned pale, and looked as if he were about to faint. Listen.
Clark, I think he's going to faint. Catch him.
I got him. Chief, what's wrong?
That box. Look at what's in that box.
Let me see. Oh, great Scott, it's a bullet, a rifle bullet, and a note.
A note? Oh, what's it say? What's it say, Clark?
Let's see. It says, a bullet like this one will find its way to your heart if you don't stay out of Canada.
Good heavens.
Oh, it must be a practical joke. I wouldn't pay any attention to it if I were you, Mr. White.
You're certainly taking it lightly, Kent. Of course, it's my life that's threatened, not yours.
You've got something there, Chief. If it was Clark's life, he'd probably be quivering with fear.
Now, that's not quite fair, Lois.
Well, maybe it isn't.
Well, now, wait a minute. I'm going to see if we can't trace the source of that package. Miss Ferguson? That package that just arrived for me, how did it get here? Yes, I see. Oh, all right.
Well?
It was brought by a boy. We'd never be able to track it down.
Well, I don't agree with Clark. It looks to me like someone's trying to scare you out going to Canada. The question is, will you scare or won't you?
Certainly not. What do you think I'm made of? Sebastian needs my help and needs it badly. Why he didn't tell me what's wrong in his letter, I don't know. But we'll find out when we get there. Or rather, when I get there.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that you and Kent are not going.
Oh.
This little warning changes the complexion of things entirely.
That may be, but there's no reason in the world why we should let it change our minds.
Oh, of course not, Chief. I can't say I like the idea of walking into trouble, but I certainly couldn't let you go up there alone, not now.
Absolutely not.
We'll have no more discussion about this. Beauvais is my friend, and I'm the one who'll give him whatever help he needs. I certainly don't intend to drag you two into it. You're staying here, both of you.
Isn't he amusing, Lois?
He loves his little joke.
Now, look here, I'm not joking. You weren't supposed to come along in the first place, and by heaven, you...
I'll take it, Mr. White. Perry White's office. Yes, Miss Ferguson. Oh, you did? Oh, that's fine. Thanks a lot. Okay. Well, we've all got seats on the Ottawa plane.
What?
Looks like we're going whether you approve or not, Chief.
No, we can cancel those reservations.
Ah, yes, we can, but...
no, we won't.
Oh, why? Why can't I fire you two and keep you fired?
Well, there isn't much time, Chief, so suppose we discuss that on the way down to the sporting goods shop, huh? Now, the question is, why do you fire Lois and me and then rehire us again? Well, there might be any number of questions to that.
We sold more of this type of duck decoy than any other. They're made of cork, and naturally, they're a little more expensive than the cedar ones. $20 a dozen.
Oh, that's pretty high. I didn't expect to pay that much. I don't do a great deal of duck hunting, you see.
So you said. Oh, hello, Mr. White. I'll be with you in a minute.
No hurry. We'll just look around a bit.
Why not take the cedar decoys, then? They're $14 a dozen.
I see. Do you mind if I think it over? I want to make the best buy I can, but I don't want to spend too much. I'll drop in tomorrow.
Oh, that'll be fine. I'll look for you.
Okay. Thanks very much.
You're quite welcome. Well, Mr. White, what can I do for you? I thought we had outfitted you for your trip to Canada pretty completely.
Oh, you did, outside of a few odds and ends.
Well, I'm not looking for anything for myself, really. These two people are coming along with me. Sort of a last-minute arrangement, you know, and we've got to get outfits for them, too.
All right. I'll take care of you right away. I suggest we find out first what you need, sir. And then we'll take care of the lady. Feminine apparel is in another department.
It's okay with me. If you don't mind, Lois.
Oh, certainly not. You know, this is pretty exciting. I've never been in a store like this before. Gracious, look at those bright red hunting coats, and those guns on the racks, and those duck decoys on the table. And, oh, heavens, I guess you could get almost anything you needed for the woods right here in the store.
That's right, miss. We carry a full line of sporting goods. Now, let's see, sir. I think you'll want a parka like the one Mr. White ordered.
Parka? What's that?
A heavy woolen coat, fleece-lined with a hood attached. Here's some right over here.
Well, of course, I've seen them in the movies. You know, pictures of the frozen north and all that.
I guess you take a large size, sir. Let's try this one on.
All right. Wait a minute. There we are. Whew. Boy, this thing is hot.
We'll want that warmth up in the Hudson Bay region.
I guess so.
I understand the temperature often drops to 20 and 30 degrees below zero.
Yeah, so I've heard. That seems to fit. All right, I'll take this one.
Fine.
Now, look, have you got one in a small size?
A small size? Why, yes. Just how small?
Oh, to fit somebody about this tall.
What in the world do you want a parka that small for?
Oh,
Yeah? Oh, what?
Oh.
Now, look here, Kent. This doesn't make sense. You can't wear a coat that small, and I don't...
Now, take it easy, Chief. Take it easy. I'm paying for this stuff, so what are you worried about?
I'm not worried. I just don't understand it, that's all. Now, what's the sense of buying a coat half your size?
Clark, I don't understand that myself.
Well, it's a secret. I'll take that small parka as well as the large one.
All right, sir. I'll put them both aside. Now, let's see. Boots, I guess, will be the next item. You'll need some warm and comfortable boots for traveling through the woods. Now, if you'll just...
Excuse me, Bud.
Yes?
Mind if I have a look at these guns on the rack here?
Oh, not at all. Go right ahead.
Thanks.
Now then, the boots. What size do you wear?
Size 11C.
Better give him the same type of boot you sold me. You know, rubber soles and leather tops.
Yes, I was going to, Mr. White.
This 30-06 Winchester looks pretty good. Nice and light.
What? Oh, yes, that's a mighty fine rifle. Now, sir, these are just the boots you'll need.
Well, have you got a smaller size in the boots as well?
A smaller size?
Yes, I'd say about a 5.
A 5? What are you going to do with a size 5 boots?
Clark, what's gotten into you? Are you out of your mind?
Here's a pair of 5s right here, sir.
All right, let's have a look at them. Yes, I think they just about do.
Do for what? Well, you couldn't get your hands in them, let alone your feet.
I wish you two would stop being so inquisitive. All these questions.
I don't think I have to ask any more questions, Kent. I'm beginning to put 2 and 2 together. That small-sized parka you bought would be just about right for a boy of 14, wouldn't it? And the boots would just about fit a kid that age. Kent, look at me.
No, Chief.
Look at me, I said.
Well?
You're not thinking of bringing that freckle-faced terror along with us, are you?
Freckle-faced terror? I don't know what you mean.
You know what I mean, all right. It's a little devil disguised as a 14-year-old boy. It's a benighted imp that always succeeds in driving me stark raving mad, and its name is Jimmy Olsen. Now, answer me, Kent. You wouldn't be thinking of bringing him along with us, would you?
Well, why, Jimmy's at home, Chief. He hasn't seen his mother in months. I guess he'd want to stay with her for a while, so... Well, he couldn't possibly come with us. Of course, I know he'd be terribly disappointed if we went without him, and I thought...
You thought what?
Well, I thought I'd, give him a ring on the phone and sort of ask him if he wanted to come along. Just give him a chance to refuse.
And, of course, he would refuse.
Of course.
Oh, you're sure of that?
Why, positive.
You're so positive that you're buying him a complete outfit. Kent, no, I won't stand for it.
Now,
there are lots of things I'll take from you, but this is not one of them. You know how he gets on my nerves. You know how he badgers me, tortures me, drives me to distraction. He can't come along, Kent. Do you understand? I won't have it. I'd rather travel with a man eating tiger.
Take it easy, will you? Please. Jimmy will probably refuse anyway. Say, wait a minute.
What's the matter, Clark?
Hey, you there. You with the gun.
Yeah?
You're pointing that rifle straight at us. Do you mind sighting it in another direction?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know it was pointing at you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kent, I've taken care of the boots and the parkas.
Oh, fine.
I think we'd better see what we have in the way of hunting trousers.
All right.
I think the same type Mr. White purchased should do. A good warm woolen pair. Treated with a new chemical that makes them absolutely waterproof.
Oh.
We have them in all sizes, too, so we'll be sure to have a pair for the boy you were talking about.
I said that boy was not coming.
Please, Mr.
Now,
White.
blast it all, Kent. We're going to have this out here and now.
But if you...
I said that little rapscallion is not to come along, and when I...
Wait a minute. Clark.
Yes, Lois?
Look at that man. He's pointing that rifle at us again.
What?
Straight at Mr. White.
What's that? By George, he is. Hey, you there. Put down that gun. Point it somewhere else.
What's that?
I said point that rifle somewhere else. I don't like people poking guns at me.
Nothing to worry about, mister. These guns aren't loaded.
Yes, it's always the gun that isn't loaded that does the damage. You ought to know better than to point a gun at people anyway.
What are you getting so riled up about? If the gun was loaded, it'd be a different matter, maybe.
Well, now, whether the gun is loaded or
Still
not...
pointing it at Mr. White. Make him stop it, Clark.
Oh, don't be silly, lady. I tell you, the gun isn't loaded. Look, I'll prove it. I'll pull the trigger.
No, for heaven's sake, don't!
With a sharp crack, the supposedly unloaded rifle fires a deadly steel-jacketed bullet at Perry White's chest. A bullet that might mean instant death. Was the firing of the rifle an accident, or is it part of the strange, mysterious effort to keep Perry White from reaching Hudson Bay? Don't miss tomorrow's exciting episode, and be sure to listen every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Did you ever stop to think why American machine gun crews make such good scores in their battles against the Japs and the Nazis? Their teamwork, their super marksmanship, comes from practice. Practice every day until they can hit the bullseye practically every time. But that much practice eats up an awful lot of bullets. And that's just where you come in. You buy bullets for machine gunners every time you buy war stamps. 5 bullets for every 10-cent stamp. So get behind your team by buying stamps just as often as you can. Can you think of anything more exciting to buy for your dime than 5 .45 caliber bullets? 5 bullets for American soldiers to use in protecting your home from the Japs or the Nazis. So get going. Get your stamps today and every day.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend the steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellas and girls, have you ever seen a squadron of American bombers roaring through the air in formation? Have you seen newsreel pictures of Uncle Sam's destroyers cutting through the seas on patrol in search of enemy subs and surface raiders? I'm sure you have, and I bet you were thrilled. You probably felt terribly proud, too. Well, if you've been buying war-saving stamps regularly, you have a right to be proud. Not only because those planes and those ships represent the fighting spirit of America, but because you helped to build them. Yes, sir, every time you bought a war-saving stamp, your money helped by the labor and materials that are used to make planes and ships and equipment to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. So next time you hear some boy or girl on your block say, "Oh, shucks, what difference does it make if I buy one stamp or not? What difference can one dime make?" You tell them that it does make a difference. It makes a big difference. You tell them, for instance, that 5 dimes will buy enough fuel oil to take an American destroyer 1 full mile closer to its objective. Or that 1 dime will buy 5 .45 caliber bullets. tell him that if every boy and girl in the United States bought just one 10-cent war-saving stamp every day, it would add up to enough money to buy a lot of swift pursuit planes, with which our Army and Navy forces could blast the Axis out of the air. And while you're at it, you might remind them that this is one way that all you fellows and girls can help to win this war. Now, after all, everybody can't join Uncle Sam's armed forces, but all of us can buy war-saving stamps. So talk it over with Mother and Dad tonight. Tell them that you want to help Uncle Sam win this war by buying war-saving stamps regularly, every day if possible. And I'm sure that they'll be glad to cooperate.
And now, the adventures of Superman. At the moment, Superman, in his disguise of Clark Kent, is in a peculiarly bad spot. As you remember, Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, Lois Lane, girl reporter, and Kent are planning a trip into the wilderness of the Hudson Bay region of northern Canada. It is their intention to visit a certain Sebastian Beauvais, owner of a hunting lodge, who wrote to his old friend White begging him to come at once, that he needed help badly. In our last episode, Kent, Lois, and White visited a sporting goods shop to buy the clothes they would need for the trip into the frozen north. A stranger entered the shop while they were there, and while examining a rifle, repeatedly pointed the weapon at Perry White. Suddenly, as if by accident, the rifle went off, with White directly in the line of fire. And yet, when the excitement died down, the Daily Planet editor was discovered to be unharmed. The bullet had not touched him, for the hand of Superman had shot out and stopped the bullet in mid-flight. Clark Kent now finds himself in a most embarrassing predicament. For Lois, staring at him with a strange look in her eyes, says,
I tell you, I saw it. I saw Clark stop that bullet. He's holding it in his hand.
Lois, you're talking nonsense.
Maybe I am. I don't know. Go on, open your right hand.
Lois, this is ridiculous.
Well, prove it. Prove it by opening your right hand.
We're waiting, Kent. I can see you're holding something in your right hand, and I demand to know what it is. Now, open your hand, Kent, and open it right now.
Well, now, really, this is the funniest thing that's ever happened to me. The most flattering, too, I might say. Do you realize, Lois, that you're practically accusing me of being Superman?
I know it isn't possible. No ordinary man could stop a bullet in flight.
Wait a minute, you. I wouldn't try sneaking off if I were in your place.
Who's sneaking off?
I thought I saw you start to edge toward the street door.
What would I do that for? Am I supposed to be afraid of something? It was an accident, that gun going off. I didn't know it was loaded.
Yeah, we'll deal with him later, Kent. Right now, I want to see what you're holding in your hand.
Clark, I can't stand the suspense any longer. I know I couldn't have seen what I think I saw, but...
Okay. You win.
What do you mean?
I've tried to hide it from you, but... Well, I'm afraid now I'll have to admit the truth. Lois, Mr. White, I, Clark Kent, am Superman.
Steady, Lois. Now, blast you into limbo and out again, Kent. Open that hand of yours and let's get this thing over with.
Very well, but if I'm about to reveal myself to you as Superman...
Oh, Clark, stop this joking.
You started it. As I was saying, if I'm about to reveal myself as Superman, I might as well make the most of a suspenseful moment. So then, I'm going to count 10. At the end of that time, I'll open my hand and reveal myself to your wondering gaze as Superman.
Never mind the counting.
No. Gotta do this right. After all, Chief, this is a world-shattering moment. Well, here we go. 1, 2...
Taking the desperate chance of telling Lois and Perry White in a joking manner what he is sure they won't believe, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, begins to count 10. And in the time thus gained, he tightens his fist, tightens and tightens it until the very pressure of his superhuman strength crushes and reduces the rifle bullet to dust.
8.
And then, as he reaches the end of his count...
10. And now, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, perceive I blow lightly through my fist. So... and then open my hand. There.
Why, it's empty. Your hand is empty.
Well, what in heaven's name did you expect, Lois? What on earth have we two been doing? Accusing him of stopping a bullet. Did we go out of our minds or something? Well, the entire matter's closed. The gun went off accidentally. I'm not hurt, thank heaven.
You were lucky the bullet missed you.
You can say that again. But it's over with, so let's forget it.
Excuse me, mister. You mind if I go now?
What? Oh, yes, you can go. Better be a little more careful next time, the way you handle unloaded rifles.
I'm sorry, mister. I'm certainly glad you weren't hurt. You can bet I'll be more careful. Well, so long.
Now, where's that clerk?
You're right here, Mr. White.
You know, it's a funny thing about that incident. To begin with, none of those rifles is ever loaded.
Well, this one was.
I know, but where did the bullet go? It's not in the wall.
I'm sorry. I just thought of something I must do. You've got practically everything I'll need, and I can pick up almost anything else in Canada. I'll run along.
But Kent...
And, oh, yes, duplicate everything in a smaller size for a boy about so big.
Jimmy Olsen is not coming on this trip, Kent. I won't have him with us. I've made up my mind to that.
You'll change it. You always do. See you back at the office.
Kent, he'll manage it. I'm late before I start. He'll manage it somehow.
Manage what?
To bring Jimmy along on this trip. If ever a nymph was created to torture me, it's Jimmy Olsen.
Leaving Lois and Perry White in the sporting goods shop, Clark Kent moves swiftly into the street, just in time to see the man who almost killed White step into a taxicab. Hailing a cab himself,
Taxi!
Kent gives the driver quick instructions.
Follow that green and white cab that just pulled away. There's a 5-spot in it if you don't lose it.
Kent's taxi follows the other across town into an expensive section of the city where it pulls up before a fashionable apartment house. Kent orders his cab to pull over to the curb a block away.
Now, to find out into what nest my bird has flown. This is the apartment house. Well, in we go. Uh-oh. Here comes the doorman. I'll have to think of something.
Could I help you, sir?
I don't know. A funny thing, I just saw a man, a friend of mine whom I haven't seen in years, enter this building. A man wearing a gray overcoat.
Oh, Mr. Kilrain?
Yes, that's his name.
Well, he's in penthouse A, sir. He lives there with the other gentleman.
Oh, thank you. I'll just drop in on him.
Just a moment, sir. I have to announce you. Whom should I say is calling?
Well, I'd just like to surprise him. I don't...
Oh, sorry, sir. It's against the rule.
Well, now, look here. There's no harm in my dropping in.
I'm sorry, sir. It's a rule. There's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, well, in that case, don't bother.
Oh, but, sir, all I have to do is pick up this phone.
Oh, if Kilrain's gotten so ritzy I can't see him without being announced, let's forget it.
But really,
Never
sir,
never mind.
Well...
There are quicker ways of getting to penthouse A. And there's the entrance to the backyard. If luck is with me, I ought to be able to reach the penthouse from there. Funny the way that doorman acted. The way he said Kilrain was living with that other gentleman. Sounded as if there was something strange about the other gentleman. Oh, here we are. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the terrace of the penthouse way up there. All right, off with these clothes. Now then.
As Superman, I won't have to be announced. Up! Up! There. Oh, quite a terrace, garden and all. Now, let's see who's in that lighted room. I was right. It's Kilrain just taking off his coat. Well, nothing like the direct approach. Up with this window. And in we go.
What is the name of...
Please don't get excited, Mr. Kilrain, and please don't reach inside your coat for the gun you probably carry there.
What is this? Who are you and what are you doing here?
Oh, I was just flying by and thought I'd drop in.
You were just... What are you talking about? And keep your voice down. You'll awaken him.
By him, I take it you mean the other gentleman with whom you live?
You got it. He sleeps in the afternoon, and anything he hates is to be waked up.
Oh, that would be a pity, wouldn't it? Very well, I shall talk quietly. Come here, Mr. Kilrain.
Yeah, I don't get this. Who are you? And... Hey, wait a minute. Take your hand off my arm. What...
Don't cry out. And keep your voice down. We wouldn't want to awaken him, would we?
No. No, we wouldn't.
No. Good. We begin to understand each other, you and I, Mr. Kilrain. You felt the pressure of my hand on your arm, and now if I were to use all my strength, it would crush your arm. You would undoubtedly cry out in pain, and that would awaken him. Now then, since we appear to be mortally afraid of waking him, suppose you tell me what I want to know.
What's that?
Why did you try to kill that gentleman in the sporting goods shop a little while ago?
I didn't try to kill nobody. That was an accident. Hey, how did you know about that?
Never mind. Why did you try to kill him?
I tell you, I didn't.
The idea was to prevent him from going to Canada, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know nothing.
Now that's a fib, Mr. Kilrain. If I had some soap, I'd wash out your mouth, but not having any soap, I'll just increase the pressure on your arm.
No, I can't stand it. Don't, please.
Then tell me what I want to know.
I can't. He'd do things to me that...
Who would do things to you?
Him.
Well, we seem to be getting nowhere very fast, Mr. Kilrain. Now, let's concentrate a bit now, eh? Just who is him?
The Laugher.
The Laugher?
Yeah. He's called that because... Hey, wait. Did you hear someone move?
Yes. Yes, I believe I did. Someone moved in the next room.
Then he's awake. Half an hour before his usual time. We woke him up. You and me. We did it.
Don't say. Well, you sound as if it was something to be worried about.
Oh, you don't know the Laugher. He's always laughing, but... we shouldn't have woke him up. Nothing makes him madder than that, and... Hello, Laugher.
Well, Superman seems to have stepped into a very strange company indeed. Who is this amazing character, the Laugher? And why are he and his henchman Kilrain trying to prevent Perry White from reaching the Hudson Bay region? Be sure to hear tomorrow's revealing episode. And listen every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
By all means, don't forget to tune in to Superman tomorrow for another thrilling and exciting episode. And don't forget to talk to Mother and Dad before you go to bed tonight about making arrangements to buy war-saving stamps regularly. Start the day off right tomorrow. Buy at least one 10-cent war-saving stamp first thing after breakfast. And remember what I told you at the beginning of this program. Every single dime is important because all our dimes put together can go a long way to help pay for the guns and tanks and planes and ships we need to knock out the Nazis and the Japs. And say, here's an idea for you. Why don't you get together with your friends tomorrow and make a joint pledge to buy war-saving stamps every time you've got a dime? See which of you can buy the most war-saving stamp every week and every month. Do your share to win this war.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
This is Mutual.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise shift. Blast off minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. A great time capsule has been lowered into the ground at the Venus Interplanetary Exposition. It contains the story of man's march through space and records of industrial, cultural, and scientific progress, all meant for the information of humanity in future ages. But Eddie Morgan and Bill Rice find that a precious secret has also been accidentally put into the capsule, and they succeed in getting to the capsule and stealing the vital information. Now, at Space Academy, cadets Tom Corbett and Roger Manning wait for Captain Strong to return from a high-level conference with Commander Arkwright.
Sit down, Roger, or by the craters of Luna, I'll blast you down.
Let me alone, Junior. For letting those crooks slip through our fingers, we deserve a good, hard, jet-propelled kick.
I know how you feel, Roger, but we were pretty lucky to get out of that shaft at all.
Sure, which doesn't change the fact that there's a couple of jokers running around loose somewhere in the universe with the master formula for operating all energy locks. And we let them get away with it. We, Tom.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself, Manning.
Captain Stark.
Hello, boys. If it'll help, Commander Arkwright wants me to thank you.
He does?
Yes, Manning. If you two hadn't become suspicious of that phony space ride concession and found the shaft dug to the capsule, we'd never have known anything.
You know, that's right. Come to think of it, we were pretty keen.
Careful, Roger. You'll break your arm.
Huh?
Patting yourself so hard on the back.
I'm just agreeing with Commander Arkwright.
Just the same. We should have been...
Hold it, boys. This is no time for a squabble.
Oh, sorry, sir. Has a general alarm gone off? To pick up Morgan and Rice, I mean.
No, and I don't expect one will. You've got to realize what a panic that'd cause. Every bank vault, the safes on all rocket ships, every secret of the Solar Alliance is protected by energy locks.
That's why I think you'd want to...
Put them all on guard? No. Certainly not before we know more about Rice and Morgan's whereabouts. And as a matter of fact, they may not even be able to understand the formula they stole from the capsule. At least that's what we're hoping.
You're being called on the teleceiver, sir.
I'll take it, Corbett. Captain Strong here. Oh, yes, Lieutenant Wolchek. What? You have? I see. 500,000, huh? Take this order, Lieutenant. Plan F is in force. Group 8, Squadron 9. Have you got that? Good. We'll blast off immediately.
Plan F, sir? And that must mean bad news.
It certainly does, Corbett. A passenger ship on its way to Mars has just been pirated of 500,000 credits.
Oh, brother, that means Morgan and Rice have gone to work.
Exactly, Manning. The thieves went through the energy lock as though it was space dust.
Sir, are we going to get a crack at those two?
Not only you, but the whole Solar Guard.
What kind of a ship have they got, anyway?
They seem to be using the same chemical fuel job they were using here at the exposition. At least it fits the description of the pirate rocket.
That old beat-up Hulk, the Nancy Adams?
They won't get very far in that.
Maybe not, but we're not taking no chances. Rocket cruiser Orion is on patrol in Sector 12, Chart M. She's been ordered to move in. Squadron 9 is getting ready now, and we'll be blasting off with it, just as soon as we can get to Venusport.
What'd I tell you, Rice? Just like tackling a can of sardines.
A full-size spaceport. And we opened it up like that and took their credits easy as rolling off a log.
Yeah. Well, you ever forget the look on the skipper's face when that vault door swung open? And this is just the beginning, Rice. The first job. Don't forget the payroll for the miners and Titan. 5 million credits.
Something on the radar. Let me take a look.
Hey, Eddie, come quick. What's the matter? Running into a little space junk?
Yeah, if that's what you want to call a Solar Guard heavy cruising.
Huh? Let me see that. Good. Fine, big ship.
Are you crazy? They must be looking for us.
Which makes things even. I've been looking for them.
What?
Listen, Dopey. You didn't think we were going to be able to operate in this tin can much longer.
What's the matter with the Nancy Adams?
What isn't? No, sir, Rice. We need a new ship, a fast ship.
We could buy one with all the money we got.
I want the best. That means a Solar Guard cruiser.
You must be out of your mind. How can we?
I got plans. Now listen to me and do as I...
Attention, Space Raider Nancy Adams. Stand by for inspection. This is a rocket cruiser Orion of the Solar Guard. Stand by for inspection.
Inspection? That means they'll come aboard, find the credits.
Let them come. They'll find nothing. Not the credits, not even us.
I don't get it.
Put on a spacesuit, quick.
Attention, Nancy Adams. We are ordering you to stand by.
For gosh sakes, Morgan.
I'm telling you, don't worry. Get on the spacesuit while I answer.
Okay.
Space Freighter Nancy Adams to Solar Guard cruiser Orion. We hear you. We are standing by for inspection. We may couple airlocks at will. Now let them come aboard. They can have the Nancy Adams. We'll take over the Orion.
I'm going crazy trying to figure out how...
Don't strain that lame brain of yours, Rice. Just follow orders. And by the time we're through, we'll be the first pirates in history to go blasting through space in a Solar Guard cruiser.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom, Corbett, and the Space Cadets in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, I'd like you to hear a special on-the-scene recording I made the other day when I inspected the space liner Nebula prior to the cosmic space line. I'll start the recording now. Spaceman, I'm proceeding down the galley-way of the Nebula. That muffled noise you hear in the background comes from the radiomagnetic conveyor belt that is taking me toward the main dining room. Here we are in the main dining room of the Nebula. Hold on, what's this? Well, I'll push the button and see. Well, what do you know? It's the button for the breakfast chimes. Oh, and here's the breakfast menu. Say, let's see what they have for breakfast on the Nebula. Well, Spaceman, here it is in big, bright lettering. For breakfast, the Nebula serves Kellogg's Pep. You know, that's no surprise, because Kellogg's Pep is the spaceman's breakfast. We all know how Pep is the build-up wheat cereal that gives you lots of hard-hitting food energy. Pep has essential vitamins that help you grow up with strong bones and healthy muscles. And Pep tastes so delicious. You eat one spoonful of Pep, and you'll agree that there's nothing so swell-tasting as Pep's whole wheat and malt flavor. So, Spaceman, when the breakfast chimes sound in your house, join in with the passengers on the Nebula and all the cadets at Space Academy. Eat the spaceman's breakfast, Kellogg's Pep.
When Morgan and Rice pirate a passenger ship en route from Mars to Venusport, taking more than 500,000 credits, they are spotted by the rocket cruiser Orion, which flashes word back to Solar Guard headquarters. Captain Strong, commanding a squadron of rocket destroyers, blasts off immediately, and with Tom and Roger is now nearing the Orion's last reported position.
Radar bridge control deck, Captain Strong.
Yes, Manning, what is it?
I picked up the Orion, sir, but there's no sign of the Nancy Adams.
Good enough. Relay the radar to our control deck scanner.
Here she comes.
That's the Orion, all right. Well, they ought to know what's become of Morgan and Rice. Let's talk to them. Attention, Orion. Attention. This is Captain Strong calling the Orion. Come in, please. Attention, Orion. Come in. Captain Strong to Orion. Come in.
Well, that's strange. They're not answering. Skipper, look at the scanner. The Orion's blasting away from us.
Captain, get a load of that. She's heading full space speed in the wrong direction.
Yes, Manning, we see. And we're just as puzzled as you are. Whatever you do, keep her on your screen.
I'll try it. Uh-oh. Message coming in just a second, sir.
Of all the space-happy setups, first no sign of a Nancy Adams. Then the Orion acts as though everybody on board is oxygen drunk.
Here's that message, sir. It's from the rocket destroyer TCJ 205 Squadron 9. They picked up the Nancy Adams, and what do you think they found aboard?
Manning, this is no time for guessing games.
All right, sir, but hold on to your space helmet. On that old tub was the crew of the Orion.
What? Well, you must have it wrong.
No, sir. Here's the whole message. To Captain Strong, sighted, boarded freighter Nancy Adams. Found crew of cruiser Orion aboard, with automatic flight and communications equipment smashed. All hands secure. Signed, Lieutenant Walczak.
By the rings of Saturn.
Captain, maybe it's a phony message.
No. Now, that explains why the Orion blasted away from us. Somehow, Morgan and Rice have managed to get control of that cruiser after fixing their own ship so it wouldn't operate.
I've got Walczak back. Any instructions, Captain?
I'll speak directly, Manning. Attention all rocket destroyers, Squadron 9. Our target is Cruiser Orion, Sector 12, Chart M. Prepare for maneuver Z for Zebra. Z for Zebra. Ready all ships for battle.
Better take this baby off the automatic control first. Looks like we got a fight in our hands.
Attention, Orion. Attention, Orion. Stand by for boarding. You have 30 seconds to stand by for boarding or we'll open fire. This is your first and last warning.
You hear that, Morgan? They're gonna blast it. Let them try. My guns have twice the range of theirs, and my brains are 10 times better. Stand by to maneuver, Rice. Stand by to knock a destroyer squadron right out of space.
The Orion's altering course.
Skipper, the Orion's getting in position to fire. She's countering Army Uber Z
this message to all ships immediately, Manning.
Yes, sir.
To all ships, Squadron 9, execute maneuver X for X-ray. X for X-ray, immediately.
What's happened, sir?
Corbett, I just realized. Morgan and Rice have access to the Solar Guard code book aboard the Orion. So every time I order a maneuver, they know what we're going to do.
But that means they can counter every move.
Exactly. They're always a step ahead of us, and always will be as long as we work as a squadron.
But, Captain, then why did you order X for X-ray?
X means every ship works on its own ideas. It means a knockdown, drag-out fight where somebody always gets hurt. But we've got to take Morgan and Rice. With a rocket cruiser in their hands, they can terrorize the entire solar system, robbing, looting, and with our code book, they'll be on to every move we make.
Just received acknowledgement of maneuver X from all ships, sir.
Right. Thanks, Manning.
Skipper, the radar, 2 of our ships, they've been hit. Blasted into space junk.
I tell you, this artillery is just what I needed. 2 bolts from the blasters. 2 big splashes of light. What do you think of the Solar Guards now, Rice?
I gotta hand it to you, Morgan. You're a big man.
And this is only the beginning. With the energy lock formula, this rocket cruiser, and the Guards' code book, we're going to tear the solar system apart.
I don't care what happens to the system so long as we get credits.
Right. Now, we start nice and easy. Stick to the small stuff for a while. Space yachts around Venusport. Passenger rockets out of New Chicago. Then, when we've thrown the Solar Guard off balance, we pull the 5 million credit job.
Morgan, if we take that minus payroll, we can retire, live like kings.
Or even better, like the greatest pirates in history. Rice, get a spray gun full of paint.
Huh?
I want you to paint our emblem on the Orion's hull.
Our emblem?
Yeah, the pirate signature. A skull and crossbones.
Here's another report on Morgan and Rice, sir. Took another passenger ship between Luna City and Venusport.
Same methods?
Yes, sir. Fired a blaster at the communications antenna, and then Rice from the Orion covered Morgan while he boarded the ship and opened the energy lock.
How much this time?
Nearly 300,000.
And we can't seem to get within 100,000 miles of them. The finest equipment in the Solar Alliance goes into those heavy cruisers.
Any ideas where they might be hiding, sir?
Anywhere. From the gray zone of Mercury to the moons of Jupiter. And we can't check every piece of space junk in the system.
Just got the new code for cryptography section, Captain Strong. I'd like to see Morgan use this. It's based
Never
on...
mind what it's based on, Manning. That's supposed to be a secret.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
A new code for the Solar Guard, Captain?
The first step in taking away Morgan's information.
Yeah, especially with that big shipment going to the miners on Titan.
A special code for the Titan payroll.
That's right. We can't take chances with 5 million credits. Or do you think we ought to?
Well, sir, saving the payroll won't trap Morgan and Rice. But if we used it as bait...
Bait?
Yes. Suppose we send a message to Titan that we're going to try to fool the pirates. That the payroll's going on board an old beat-up freighter. And send it in the old code.
Morgan will try to intercept the freighter.
We'll make sure he does. In our message, let's say the freighter will be in a certain quadrant at a certain time.
And around that quadrant, we'll have a whole Solar Guard task force ready to converge on that spot. Is that it, Corbett?
Yes, sir. The thing that's been giving us so much trouble is the fact that Morgan has our code. But that's the very thing that can bring him into our trap. Look at him, Roger. Every Solar Guard ship available has been assigned to this mission.
Yeah, I never saw so many destroyers and cruisers. By the rings of Saturn, Morgan and Rice better head for another galaxy.
Here you are, boys.
The Polaris is all set, sir.
We're not taking the Polaris.
We're not taking... Well, why not, sir?
Commander Arkwright has placed me in command of the fleet. If you want to come along on the flagship, fine.
You mean just stand around and watch?
Want a little action, Manning?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Corbett?
I feel the same way, Captain.
Well, the decoy ship, the freighter, will have to be piloted by someone, and...
We volunteer.
I'll say.
Boys, I won't pretend I'm not happy. But you ought to know what you're getting into. You'll be decoys, operating under sealed orders, observing complete communication silence.
That'll mean less work, Skipper, which is the way I like it.
You won't be able to call for help, whatever happens.
Believe me, sir, if anyone calls for help after we meet those pirates, it isn't going to be Corbett and Manning.
You said it, Junior. Captain, hand over those sealed orders.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett and the Space Cadets in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, my name is Cadet Montgomery. Here in my hand I have a pair of official space goggles. They're just like the kind you can get from Space Academy Supply Headquarters. I wouldn't go out into space without my pair for all the uranium in Jupiter. You see, these space goggles once saved my life. It happened a couple of months ago. I was at the controls of a rocket cruiser when I had to change course and head into the glaring sun. For a moment I was blinded. I couldn't see. And then I put on my space goggles. It was a lucky thing I thought of them, because all of a sudden I saw a Martian space freighter blast out of nowhere and swing across my path. We were headed on a collision course. The Martian pilot, blinded by the sun, couldn't see me. I had to act fast. I called for emergency speed and gave the rudder controls all they had. It was going to be close. But we made it. Thanks to my space goggles, I'd seen that Martian just in time. Spaceman, if I hadn't been wearing my goggles, I'd be space dust now.
Thanks for your story, Cadet Montgomery. And now, Spaceman, here's what you do to get your pair of space goggles. Pay close attention because I'm going to give these instructions just once. Ready? Send one box top from Kellogg's Pep, 25 cents, and your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346. Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Send for your space goggles today, and tomorrow morning, eat a spaceman's breakfast. Eat Kellogg's Pep.
A giant trap has been set for the pirate Morgan and his accomplice. And at the very center, serving as bait, is an old freighter being flown through space by Tom Corbett and Roger Manning. And now, as they wait for the ruthless man to strike...
See anything, Roger?
Not a thing, Tom.
4 hours now. Maybe Morgan's wise.
I don't see how he could be. Hey, what are you doing?
Reading the orders again. Proceed to Space Quadrant 17, Sector 9, Chart R. That's it, nothing else.
So now we play sitting duck for Morgan. Why don't those guys come on?
Hold on to your space helmet, Roger. I think we've got company.
Where?
There, on the radar scanner. Is that a ship or a piece of space junk?
That space junk, it's got rockets.
Keep your fingers crossed, Roger.
It's the Orion, all right. I can see her through the viewport now.
Complete with skull and cross.
Hey, he's blasting us.
Trying to smash the communications antenna as usual.
Then his next step would be to...
Attention, Space Freighter in Sector 9. You are in my sights. Stand by for boarding. Attempt no resistance when I couple airlocks. Attempt no resistance if you value your life.
I wonder if he'll recognize it.
Very wise of you to take it so calmly, gentlemen. And now... Why, you're Manning and Corbett.
And the game is up, Morgan. You walked into a trap.
Huh? I don't believe it. You're bluffing.
Morgan, fleet. When the race is set on the whole solar guard fleet, they're trapping us. We gotta get away fast.
Hold on, you idiot. I'm coming. Just let me blast these two space punks as a lesson.
I can't wait for you. I'm getting out of here.
Rice, you run out of me, don't you?
Too late, Morgan. He's gone. Rip the airlock apart.
But he's not going very far. Look at the radar scanner. Here comes the fleet. Must be 100 of them.
Where?
Rice has opened fire.
So is the fleet.
He's doubling back this way.
They're still firing. We'll get hit. Watch out!
My eyes! I can't see! I'm blind!
Roger, are you all right?
Yeah. The explosion knocked out our lights. He thinks he's blind.
I'll watch him just the same. He's got a ray gun. Maybe he's bluffing.
Somebody speak! I can't see!
Where is he?
By the control panel. You remember the old game of turkey gobbler?
You mean make a noise and then hide?
Yeah, you go to the left and I'll circle to the right.
Please say something! I can't see!
Now be careful.
There's pity on me when you're blind! I'll throw away my ray gun! I'll say something!
He's got two, Tom. He's bluffing.
Yeah, I know. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Hey, you stuck Space 8. Here I am. Not there. Here, Morgan. Now, over here, Morgan.
I'll get you, you young punks. You can't outfox me.
Well, get me here, Morgan. You're pulling to the left. Try again.
Playing games with me, huh? Well, you can't.
Missed again.
I'll get you. So the guy's gonna trap me, huh? Well, I'm more than a pirate. You can't get me.
Hey, Roger, how many was that?
9 blasts. Must be low on power.
Come on, let's roll.
He's out cold. Get some emergency lights on, Roger. I want to take a look at this guy unarmed. There.
Corbett, where are you?
Up here, Skipper, on the control deck.
Oh, I've been worried. The blast that knocked out the Orion. Some of it's spilled over on the freighter.
Good thing, too. It knocked our lights out and saved our lives. And then we kept Morgan shooting till his ray gun ran out of power.
Where is that space rat anyway? Well, I'll be sleeping like a baby.
Oh, well, I guess I did hit him pretty hard, sir.
You hit him?
Of course I did, Junior. Not that you didn't help. I don't want to hog all the credit.
Well, of all Hold it, boys, hold it. This man learned the most guarded secret in the entire universe. Captured a Solar Guard cruiser and stole more money than any pirate in history. There's plenty of credit for both of you.
Oh, we know, sir. It's not that.
Boys, couldn't we say that you both hit him equally hard?
Why?
Well, I guess so.
Sure, I'm willing. But I hit him first.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure of Tom, Corbett, and the Space Cadets on Tuesday, when they fly the largest passenger rocket in the universe to Venus, but find themselves on a round trip to disaster. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Edward Bryce, and Ivor Francis. Today's program was written by Richard Jessup, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Raisins and bran flakes, too. They're out of this world. They're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Kellogg's raisins are honeycomb coated to keep them tender. The bran flakes crisper. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Raisins and bran flakes, too. They're out of this world. They're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Decay and desolation, looking down on what was once a great city, while coming slowly to meet you, her hand stretched out in greeting to you, is a beautiful girl whose very existence may be the cause of your death.
Listen now as Escape brings you Jack London's classic novel, The Scarlet Plague.
I am recording this only for myself, for my own sanity, perhaps even from some age-old sense of duty, for I have not the slightest hope that it will ever be heard by any living human being.
I was at one time a professor of English literature in the great university at San Francisco. Professor James Smith, a man who believed in reason and intellect and who abhorred the instincts of animal nature. But that was before the terror and the madness of the Scarlet Plague. This morning I killed a sheep with my bare hands. Then, squatting on the ground, I tore a haunch from my prey and ate it raw. It began simply on a Monday morning, as I recall. I was having breakfast at the counter in the campus cafeteria with Bill Dombey of the physiology department. He was glancing over the front page of the morning paper.
I don't know why I do it, Jim.
Do what?
Buy a paper every morning. Nothing changes but the date. Senator so-and-so back in Washington after whirlwind tour, love nest killing in Omaha, new bomb test at with talk scheduled.
What's that item down at the bottom?
Where?
Down the corner. New York fights Scarlet Plague.
Some news reporter's pipe dream, I suppose. 9 persons have died since last evening of a strange malady which has left doctors at Manhattan hospitals admittedly baffled. The disease, if it is a disease, strikes without warning and slays its victim in less than an hour. Apparently, the first symptoms are a feeling of well-being and lightheadedness, accompanied by a slight rise in temperature. A few minutes later, a fiery red rash appears on the hands and face and spreads rapidly over the entire body. Within 10 to 30 minutes, the victim goes into coma and dies. Ridiculous. There's no disease that acts like that. It's food poisoning, something of that sort.
Please, Bill, I'm eating.
Medical authorities are unanimously agreed, however, that no general danger exists and that there is no cause for public concern or alarm, which is double talk, for we don't know what it is yet.
What about a mutation?
Mutation of what?
Well, how do I know? You're the physiologist.
Oh, you're talking about those scare stories, I suppose. Harmless virus or bacteria mutates and throws down some new deadly type. Antibiotics won't touch it. Medical science helpless. 1 million people wiped out overnight.
It's a possibility, isn't it?
No, Jim, bacteria strains are always mutating. And usually the mutation is less harmful than the parent. That idea has been overworked for years. Pass the cream, please.
Oh. Bill? Is it a possibility or not?
Yes, it's a possibility. Hey, you're stalling, Jim. That rook's the only piece you can move and you know it.
Don't rush me now. We still got the queen back here. Let's see.
And here is the latest development on the Scarlet Plague.
No,
the following statement was released a few minutes ago
I would move that if I were you.
Bureau of Public Health. Up to this hour, the official death toll in Greater New York is 321 persons. In Boston, 94. Washington, D.C., 111. Chicago, 181. Medical
spreading like wildfire.
Working around the clock. It is expected momentarily that the causative agent of the disease will be isolated and an effective treatment prescribed. Meanwhile, stay out of crowds, stay home, and stay calm. We return you now to Dance Time.
Turn it off, Jim.
How can it spread so fast?
It's hard to tell, not knowing the period of incubation, whether it's airborne, contagious by contact, how long it's contagious before the symptoms show up, not even knowing what it is, in fact. One thing sure, though, something's got to be done fast.
I guess we can call ourselves lucky out here. There hasn't been a case reported in San Francisco.
No, not yet.
When all the breathers of this world are dead, you still shall live. Such virtue hath my pen, where breath most breathes, even in the mouths of men. Now, I did not choose this particular sonnet because of possible contemporary suitability, but because it does, I think, best keynote the transitional phase that later appears in the philosophies and the poetic... Is something wrong back there? Yes, what's the trouble, Miss Baxter?
It's the Scarlet Plague!
Now, wait. Morley, Everett, wait and give me a hand here. Miss Wilson.
Professor Smith, look at my hands. My arm's all red.
Now, Miss Wilson.
I feel so strange. Cold and numb. I'm dying. Everyone who gets it dies. I'm only 19 and I'm dying.
There.
When all breathers of this world are dead, you...
Now it's in San Francisco. I sat for a long time in the empty classroom, paralyzed by shock, by a strange fear I'd never felt before, the fear of the unknown. The girl had walked into my class smiling and talking, and now she lay dead at the back of the room. Why? How could it happen so suddenly? What had caused the plague? Where had the terror started? And where would it end? I went to the faculty club. Bill Dombey was listening to the latest report.
Reports from around the nation include the following figures. Greater New York estimated 184,000 deaths. Philadelphia estimated 150,000 deaths. St. Louis estimated 83,000 deaths. Chicago, one moment please. A bulletin has just been handed to me from London. The Scarlet Plague is raging in Europe. Unofficial reports from Russia estimate the death toll in Moscow at 180,000 with additional millions dead and dying throughout the Soviet Union and China. New bulletins will be broadcast whenever they are received for as long as our facilities last. And we...
No word of any cure yet?
Jim, I didn't hear you come in.
I just walked across the campus. It's completely deserted.
Yes. Guess the faculty club here is the only holdout. And at that, there are only four, counting you, Myra Blake of Graphic Arts. She went over to her room to pack some keepsakes. She'll be back. Dr. Barnes is out in the kitchen trying to rustle up something to drink.
Bill, that girl who died in my class a while ago, 1 minute she was all right, and a minute later she was dead.
Well, it's fast. That's one thing.
Can you get it from contact? I lifted her head. I put some books on her.
Nobody knows how you get it. I don't suppose contact matters much. It couldn't be all contact. Not millions of cases in less than 48 hours.
Well, why can't they find a cure? They've had 2 days now. What are they all doing?
Dying, Jim, like everybody else.
Dombey, Smith?
Oh, Dr. Barnes?
Here. Maybe this will help.
Scotch.
Why not? The whole case of it out there. I think it might be a good idea to keep that radio on.
Yes, you're probably right, Dr. Barnes. Technicians, engineers, they've died by thousands all over the country. How much longer can services like radio, telephone, transportation...
ago. All conveyances, regardless of ownership or occupancy, are being stopped and turned back at Army control points. Stay where you are. Do not attempt to travel. You are no safer in one place than in another. The plague is everywhere. Repeat, the plague
it won't
is
stop,
everywhere.
They'll still try to run.
Yes.
Also
Anywhere, just as long as it's somewhere else.
Has not mutinied. Repeat, the Army has not mutinied.
It must be getting rough out
Signed by
there.
Edmund C. Dover, Senate member and acting President of the United States, and by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In a bulletin just handed to me, Johns Hopkins regretfully states that Dr. Theodore von Zwickler, who had earlier announced partial success in identifying the causative agent of the plague, has just died. So Dr. Zwickler left no notes on his work. Hospital personnel continue to...
What happened to the lights?
Power failure, I guess. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
There's a flashlight in that desk drawer.
I got it.
There is a portable radio with batteries in the game room.
Oh, let's leave it for the moment, Dr. Barnes.
Yes, the liquor sounds better than the news.
Well, in that case, I wonder what's keeping Miss Blake. She was coming right back.
Hey, wait a minute. Where's that light coming from?
It's like a fire. Maybe we can see from the window.
Not one fire, 1,000 fires.
Down there, toward the bay. Berkeley, Oakland, and over in the city. Why? What started them?
Can't you hear why, Jim?
Gunfire.
Yes. They're not waiting for the plague to do the job.
No. They're already out in force. The looters, the maimers, the robbers, people with a hate and a grievance.
If it started already, it'll get a lot worse.
Oh, yes.
It'll get worse.
You are listening to The Scarlet Plague, tonight's presentation on Escape. Sunday afternoon, CBS Radio will bring you another of its successful on-the-scene reports gathered by its feature project team. This time, we'll take you to the United States wide-open back door, the Mexican border, the crossing point for 2 million illegal entrants last year alone. We call this report the Wetbacks, because that's what so many of these illegal entrants are called as they swim the Rio Grande into the United States. Hear the Wetbacks, Sunday on most of these same stations. And now, Escape, and the second act of The Scarlet Plague.
We stood at the window of the faculty club, looking out across the campus, down over the hills toward the bay, where fires lit up the growing night, and where even fiercer fires of greed and lust and hate burned in hearts that were beating their last hours or even seconds of life in this world. For a world was dying at our feet, and though we had so far been spared, we knew we too were dying with it.
Contact is still being maintained with Buenos Aires. And since London Overseas went silent a few minutes ago, this is now our only contact outside continental North America.
Makes you know you're
We are
alone.
at present able
Really
to
alone.
maintain contact with only 2 stations in this country, Washington and Chicago. The West Coast has been silent for some 30 minutes, and we do not know whether we are being heard there at this time.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
At the
A
moment, we are
crazy
waiting for
dream.
word
It
from
can't be
Washington
happening.
naming the new president of the United States to replace Edmund C. Dover, who died on the Senate platform while attempting to become...
What's the use?
Well, are we still agreed on leaving?
We must. If by some miracle we do survive, we'll be out of food here in 3 days. And tonight may be the last chance to find any. Probably looting every store in the Bay Area.
Grocery stores, liquor stores, jewelers, toy shops.
More the reason to get started now, then.
Right. If we can make 3 or 4 trips with the station wagon tonight, we ought to be set here for quite a while. What about those pistols, Dr. Barnes? You said there were a couple in the safe.
Yes, I'll get them.
Funny how things are changing. He was chancellor of this university. Now he's foraging for food.
Yes, well, I'll gas up the station wagon and get it over here so we can...
Is anybody here?
Well, Jim, turn that flashlight on the door.
Myra.
Jim, thank heaven you're still here.
Oh, Dr. Barnes was worried about you, Myra. He just went into the other room. I'll tell him you're here.
All right, Jim. I was afraid there might not be anybody here. I was hurrying to get back, and I caught my heel on the edge of the walk and fell. I think I hit my head.
Tripped and fell, the whole world dying, and you trip and fall.
I guess it is funny.
Myra? Bill.
What is it?
What's wrong?
Dr. Barnes is lying just outside. Dead.
Plague?
Yes. But he got the pistols.
Yeah, thanks. Do you know how to use one of these, Jim?
In a general way. Well, we'd better get started, Bill. We shouldn't be too long, Myra.
You're not going to leave me here alone.
Oh, she's right, Jim. I wouldn't want to be left alone either.
All right. Let's go. tried the Oakland docks first, the big food warehouses along the railroad tracks. It was a dead end. From a mile away, we could see the blaze towering into the night sky. The whole dock area was in flames. We swung the station wagon back onto the ramp and headed across the Bay Bridge toward the city itself, fighting our way in and out of the jumbled traffic and the terrified crowds on foot, turning and twisting among the dead and dying.
We've got to go back, Bill. This is getting worse every block.
Yeah, I know. Trying to get a chance to turn around. There's an alley there by the hotel. Maybe you can edge in there. We'll try anyway.
Look out, Bill!
Hey, what who you bumbling into?
Sorry?
I ain't taking a pushing around from nobody. Not anymore, you understand?
I told you
That's kind of what I got. You take a look at a 45, wise guy.
Careful, Bill. He's drunk.
Look close, and you can see the bullet coming out. Watch that.
I bet he saw it all right. I bet he got a real good look at
He's crazy, Myra. Come on, hurry. We've got to get out of here.
What about the other man?
We'll leave the car. Come on, out this side. This way, Myra. The hotel entrance. Out of the way. One side. That's the door. All right, come on.
What can we do, Jim? They saw us come in. They'll be after us any second.
The stairway there, next to the elevators. Hurry, Myra. Maybe we can find a room, someplace to hide in case they come up the stairs.
Try that one, Jim.
All right.
Hey, look! They got more dead. Sorry. Go on in and live. That's what all of us are doing. Living while we're dying.
Hiding.
Go on in. We got plenty to eat, plenty to drink. 50 pounds of diamonds, tons of money, lots of women, and not a worry in the world.
Come on, Myra, let's go.
Go ahead. Come on, let me open another bottle.
Jim, where can we go?
Well, the hotel's about 12 or 14 stories high. The elevators aren't working. I doubt if anybody'd bother us on one of the top floors. They wouldn't have any reason to climb up there. You want to try it?
All right, Jim.
Let's go. For 5 days, we stayed on the top floor of the hotel, and no one came up to bother us. Twice, with pistol in hand, I left Myra in the room and slipped down into the streets to forage for food and supplies. Gradually, over the 3 days, I saw the mobs diminish, thin out, as the Scarlet Plague continued to rage unchecked. Then finally, on the morning of the 6th day, I brought Myra down from the room to see what had happened to the city.
There's not a person in sight, Jim. No one but us. Not another living soul as far as you can see.
Listen. There's not a sound.
A dead world. There must be others, Jim. Not just us. They're hiding. We'll take a car and drive and look for them. There must be others.
But she was wrong. We drove for 100 miles, all over the city and the countryside around it. And when we finally stopped on a hill above the bay, we knew that there was not another living soul in the whole city. We were the only human beings left alive in San Francisco, and most likely the only ones in the entire world.
But why, Jim? Why us and no one else?
I don't know why. I don't know why any of this. It's just too vast to begin to comprehend. But we're alive. That's the only thing that's certain. We're both alive. To be alone, to be the only living human in the world would mean terror. Absolute terror and insanity.
I feel guilty somehow. Being alive when everyone else is dead.
There can't be any guilt when you don't have a choice. It was nothing we did. And besides, Myra, don't you see what it means? Since we've been spared, mankind itself has been spared, and civilization. We'll have children. We'll teach them. See that they remember and pass on the greatness of the past.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Together we can do it. We can give mankind another chance. You and I, Myra. We can keep it from being lost forever. Together, everything's different. There's a new hope, something to live for and work for. And we...
What's wrong, Jim?
Myra.
What?
Your face. It's turning scarlet.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Scarlet Plague by Jack London, specially adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, starring Vic Perrin. Featured in the cast were Polly Bear, Virginia Gregg, and John Daner, with Eleanor Tannen, John Larch, Barney Phillips, and Sam Edwards. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are standing in the bedroom of an English inn. The sound of revelry coming faintly up the stairs. While in the shadows across the room from you, the gun in his hand already aimed at you, is an enemy agent whose success depends upon your death.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Ben Wright's story, Affair at Mandrake. Every Saturday evening at the Star's Address, enjoy William Conrad as Marshal Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke. It's a drama of the frontier of America in the 1870s. Authentic, dramatic, and full of the lore that made the American cowboy a part of our national heritage. Remember, Gunsmoke, Saturday night. Mr. Keene, Tracer of Lost Persons, is heard Friday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
Wheat Checks, Rice Checks, and Good Hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are in their spacesuits, investigating a gigantic six-wheeled atomic digging machine on the planet Mercury. As they walk across the deeply cracked ground in 300-degree heat, the huge machine starts moving toward them with increasing speed.
They're trying to run us down with the machine, Commander. Get to the ship, Happy. It's hard to run in these bulky suits. Maybe we can dodge the driller.
Don't try it. The driller's big, but it can turn like a cat.
It's gaining on us.
Don't look back. Run.
Hey!
Quick, Hap, on your feet.
My foot's caught the crevice.
Give me your hand.
No, you sir. I can't get loose. I'm caught. Commander, get away, please, while you can. The driller's almost on top of us.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The City of the Sun. Hey, gang, listen to this poor old rocket ship here at the Lunar Fleet Base. You know what the trouble is? That rocket's trying to run on ordinary fuel. Now, here's that same rocket ship loaded with super fuel. Now, that's what I call a real blast-off. And boys and girls, to get a bright and snappy start, you need super fuel, too, especially in the morning. So start your day with a breakfast that supercharges you. A nourishing breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal, like Rice Chex. Triple crisp Rice Chex. Triple crisp because it's toasted 3 times. And oh boy, is Rice Chex delicious. Makes breakfast sparkle, that's how good it is. Rice Chex. Golden shredded rice biscuits in that modern bite-sized design for easy eating. So remember, gang, to start off bright and snappy in the morning, eat a nourishing breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal and get supercharged. Today, try your spoon out on Rice Chex. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are on the planet Mercury, organizing Space Patrol units into a search for Professor Mallison, whose spaceship vanished on the dark side of the planet. But now, a second emergency on another part of Mercury sends Buzz and Happy racing to the hot side of the tiny planet, to Solaria, the city of the sun.
Who's behind the sabotage, sir?
I don't know, Happy. That's what we've got to find out. But I've got a pretty good idea what the motive is.
What's that, sir?
Solaria has suddenly become very important because of the mineral deposits that have been found about 60 miles south of the city.
South? That means it's hotter than the Solaria area. Well, how do they work it?
With robot-controlled mining equipment operated from Solaria. And with spacesuits, a few technicians can work in 2-hour shifts on the mining site itself.
Oh, and whoever sabotaged the power plant doesn't want those mining operations to continue.
Probably cuts into their own source of revenue.
I suppose this is more important, but I sure would have liked to locate Professor Mallison first.
We've got the search units well organized, Happy. They'll comb the entire dark side of Mercury with infrared viewscope scanners.
Well, do you think the professor could still be alive, sir?
He's been missing over 4 days. That would be a long time to hold out in sub-zero temperature on the dark side of the planet.
Well, how about the spaceophone signal picked up yesterday, though? That was from Mallison, wasn't it?
It was his code, all right. But it was an automatic signal. It could have been sent from one of the small rockets Mallison had aboard his ship. When released, it automatically sends back information on cosmic radiation, temperature, and Mercury's own magnetic field.
Oh, that's what Mallison was studying?
Yes. Even if we locate the rocket, it wouldn't mean it's anywhere near Mallison's ship. A commercial spaceship picked the signal up briefly, just for a few seconds. All they got was Mallison's identification code and the temperature. 122 degrees below zero.
Yeah, which could mean that Mallison released the rocket several days ago and it landed on the dark side of the planet.
Right.
Hey, Commander, what's that? It looks like steam shooting out of the ground down there. It's like a geyser.
Geyser on the hot side of Mercury? Happy, check our exact position. I don't like the looks of this.
Yes, sir.
I'll call Solaria Space Control. Corey and Terra 5 to Space Control Solaria. Corey and Terra 5 to Space Control Solaria.
Space Control Solaria to Commander Corey, Lieutenant Orris here.
Lieutenant, I'm flying low northeast of Solaria. My cadet and I have sighted something that looks like steam shooting out of the ground.
Steam, Commander?
Yes, I'll give you our position. Check it against the location of water conduits leading to the city.
Yes, sir.
Happy, got the data?
Yes, sir. We're 10 degrees, 27 minutes, 48 seconds south by 112 degrees, 51 minutes, 08 seconds east.
Got that, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir. I'll check it against the chart.
Commander, do you suppose it is a broken conduit?
I don't know what else it could be, Happy. Possibly a quake broke the pipe.
Commander, it looks like a broken conduit, all right. Solaria's main water supply line runs right through that point from melting and pumping station number 3 on the cold side of Mercury.
Better check with Solaria Water Control. See if they've noticed a drop in pressure.
Yes, sir. Thanks for telling us. If that's a bad break, we'll be in a tough spot here.
Is there a seismograph in Solaria?
I believe there is, sir.
I suggest you check the city engineering office. Have them contact other cities on the planet and see if there's been a quake in this area.
Yes, Commander.
We'll circle this vicinity to see if any further trouble develops. Report back when you get the information. Corey out.
Well, from the looks of that ground down there, sir, they must have a lot of quakes in this region.
You mean those deep cracks? Well, those were formed millions of years ago, Happy, when Mercury first began to dry out under the terrific heat.
Yeah, but with one side of the planet covered with ice and the other side with blistering heat, well, wouldn't there be a lot of quakes?
Well, as far as I know, there hasn't been a serious one reported in recent years. We'll keep circling till we hear from Solaria.
Can't we take it easy, Burdock? This is pretty rough ground.
No, these atomic drillers weren't made for comfort, Joe.
And I want to get plenty of distance between us and that broken water conduit.
We're going 70 with this thing. If we hit one of those cracks at the speed, we'll tip over.
Just quit worrying. We're riding on 6 wheels. And each of them are 20 feet in diameter. And every wheel has its own power drive. I think we're in more danger of being spotted by a space patrol ship than we are of upsetting this monster.
What do we do with the driller when we get to our spaceship?
We just leave it. Pretty well camouflaged to blend in with this cracked yellow ground here. We can find it again if we need it.
You aren't planning to drill any more holes in the Solaria water supply, are you?
No, not right away. But this job will cause plenty of trouble.
You think they'll be able to repair?
Probably. But with things like this happening, trouble with power and water, the rival companies are going to think twice about using Solaria as a base of operations.
Hey, Burdock, watch it! It nearly tipped us over.
Just relax, Joe. We're almost to the ship.
Well, sir, it looks like the conduit broke in just that one place.
That's lucky, but even at that, it'll take several hours to get many equipment out here to repair it.
Space Control Solaria calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5.
Corey here. Go ahead, Lieutenant.
A maintenance crew is getting ready to leave Solaria now, Commander. They know the location.
Oh, good. We'll head for Solaria. What about the seismograph reports?
No quakes have been detected anywhere on Mercury, sir. The chief engineer doesn't understand how that conduit could have broken.
How's your water supply?
Pressure has dropped to less than a quarter of normal, sir. We're already on a strict water rationing. Nearly all industries have been ordered to shut down for 24 hours.
Will it take that long to repair the damage?
At least. Oh, Commander, Colonel Henderson thought you might be interested in a report on Professor Mallison.
Well, yes, I am. Have they found him?
No, sir. But another automatic signal was picked up by a cargo ship, apparently from a grounded instrument rocket. It isn't much help.
What do you mean?
It's sending inaccurate information. The cargo ship pilot got a rough fix before the signal stopped. It's on the hot side of Mercury, but the temperature data was 122 degrees below zero.
Same as the other report. The sending mechanism must have been damaged when the rocket landed.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Lieutenant. I'll contact you when we reach Solaria. Corey out. All right, Happy. Get on vector for Solaria.
Yes, sir.
Hey, wait a minute. Look down there on the ground.
What is it, Commander?
See those gouges? A sort of crisscross pattern.
Yeah, 2 rows of them.
They're tracks.
What would make tracks that far apart?
Some heavy earth-moving machinery, probably.
Oh, from when the conduit was laid.
I don't think so. Focus the viewscope toward the steam spout. There, see? The tracks end right near the place where the break is.
Say, that's right.
Follow those tracks in the other direction, Happy.
Hey, they lead away from Solaria.
That makes them interesting. Any surface equipment out here would be more likely to come from Solaria than anywhere else. We're going to find out where those tracks lead.
Just a few minutes more, Grove. Our ship's on the other side of the jagged butte.
Oh, she'll be glad to get out of this driller.
You're mighty peculiar, aren't you? You don't like spaceships either.
Who says I don't?
Well, didn't you get space sick the other day?
Well,
or was it because I shut down that lab ship?
You shouldn't have done that, Burdock. He wasn't bothering us. It was on some scientific mission.
Well, it's just too bad. He came snooping around just as we blasted off from our hideout.
We didn't have a chance.
Don't be so screaming. By acting quickly, we probably kept the Space Patrol from spotting us near the power relay station. And what's the matter?
The viewscope. It's a ship.
Yeah. It's flying low, right toward us.
Think they see us?
I don't know.
Hey, why'd you stop the driller?
Because if we're moving, they might spot us. But with the sides and top of the driller camouflaged, they might not notice.
They went right over.
It's a Space Patrol ship. They must have spotted the break in the water line.
Yeah, but why were they going so slow?
How do I know? We'll just sit tight and see what they're up to.
Happy, look down there. The tracks stop.
It's hard to tell. The ground must be packed almost as hard as concrete in some places.
I'll circle back. Use the viewscope scanner.
Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Hey, there is something down there. A hump of something. A small hill, maybe.
Now look closer. Did you ever see a hill on wheels?
Yeah, I can see it now. It's a big piece of machinery, and it's camouflaged.
Happy, get our spacesuits out of the locker. I'm setting the ship down.
Yes, sir.
Check the refrigeration units in the suits carefully. We're going to be walking around in oven temperature down there.
They must have seen us. Why would they land their ship clear out here?
Just take it easy, Grove. We're safe in the driller. Nobody could get in unless we open the door.
Somebody's getting out of the ship. 2 men.
Hey, that's Terra 5. Commander Corey's ship.
we don't open up, Corey will go back to his ship and report us. They'll send a crew out here with cutting torches.
If Corey gets back to the ship.
How can we stop him?
We'll stop him all right. You just wait and see.
Wow, now that we're on the ground, that machine looks enormous.
It's an atomic driller, Happy. The camouflage covers the drill part, but it's built to cover the toughest kind of terrain and drill through solid rock.
Yeah, then that's what happened to the water conduit. Drilling into the main would be simple for that machine.
It looks that way. Have your gun ready, Happy. Whoever's in there probably won't be too eager to answer questions.
Hey, Commander, it's moving.
They're making a getaway. Get back to the ship, Happy.
Yes, sir. Commander, it's coming toward us.
Run, Happy. They're trying to run us down.
It's hard to run in these bulky spacesuits. Maybe we can dodge the driller.
Don't try it unless you have to. That driller's big, but it can turn like a cat.
The ground's so full of cracks and ditches. Commander, it's gaining on us.
Don't look back. Run.
Hey!
Hap, on your feet, quick.
My foot's caught the crevice.
Give me a hand.
Run for it, Commander. They can't get both of us. You've got to get away.
No, give me your hand, Hap.
No, you, sir. I'm caught. Commander, look out. The driller's right on top of us. You've got to leave me.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment.
Space Patroller Dick Tufeld, gang. I've got a secret for you. Wait till I close the door. Okay? Now, here's a secret Buzz Corey wants you to know about. The secret of how space patrollers get a rip-roaring start in the morning. Now, here's what they do. They eat a breakfast that supercharges them. A good breakfast with one of the 3 checkerboard super cereals. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex, and Instant Ralston. Chex. They're the super cereals with that modern bite-sized design. The cereals with a swell new taste you'll like right off the reel. And to warm up your motor, there's Instant Ralston, the hot super cereal. Has a heart-of-the-wheat flavor that you'll really warm up to. So now you know how space patrollers get that rip-roaring morning start. Get a flying start yourself every morning, gang. Sit down to a nourishing breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal and get supercharged. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex, good hot Ralston, the super cereals. Flying low above the hot side of the planet Mercury, Buzz and Happy have sighted a gigantic atomic drilling machine. The driller is driven by Burdick and Grout, who have bored a hole in the water conduit leading to Solaria, a city in the sun-baked Mercury desert. Buzz and Happy don spacesuits to investigate a cleverly camouflaged drilling machine. Suddenly, the driller started up, rolling across the cracked and fissured earth on its 6 giant wheels. Happy caught his foot in a large crack in the ground. And now, as Buzz tries to pull Happy free, the enormous driller roars down upon them.
It's no use, sir. It's still right after us. It's going to crush us.
Fall flat. Dive into that crevice quickly. Yes. Happy, are you all right?
I guess so, sir. Half buried in the dirt.
Don't move yet. Stay down in the crevice until the driller's out of sight. We don't want them coming back to finish the job.
I sure thought we were goners when that big thing thundered over us.
We're lucky to find the crevice deep enough.
They're still going, I guess.
Yeah. Fortunately, they didn't stop to wreck our ship. That means they're sure they crushed us under the wheels.
The driller's completely out of sight now, sir.
All right, into the ship, Happy. We won't take time to get out of these suits till after we blast off and start our search for that drilling machine.
Well, here we are.
Here's your spacesuit, Burdock. Get into it and let's get to the ship.
I see you're all ready.
Yeah, all but the face piece.
You know, sometimes I get the impression you don't enjoy riding in a driller.
Let the funny stuff. Let's get out of here. How do we know Corey didn't send a space phone message before he got out of his ship?
You're right, Grove. But before we leave, I'm going to set a magnesium bomb and leave it in here.
What for?
I'll make sure that this drill is useless to anybody else. And it'll leave this camp in such a mess that the Space Patrol can't find any fingerprints.
All right. All right, but let's get at it.
There's something up ahead, sir. Looks like smoke.
You're right, Happy. It's the drilling machine that's on fire.
It's not moving. Hey, do you suppose whoever was in it got out?
Well, let's hope so. Wait a minute. By the color of the smoke, that must be magnesium. It must have been deliberately started to wreck the control mechanism.
But where's the driver?
Take a look at that scorched area on the ground a few yards from the driller.
A blast-off scar.
Uh-huh. Our driller operator had a spaceship hidden here. Turn on the viewscope, Happy. Maybe you can pick up a trace of him. I'll contact Space Control Solaria. Commander Corey aboard Terra 5 calling Space Control Solaria. Commander Corey calling Space Control Solaria.
This is Space Control Solaria, Commander. Lieutenant Orr speaking.
Lieutenant, relay this bulletin to all Mercury Space Patrol units.
Yes, sir.
A spaceship of unknown type just blasted off from the vicinity of the broken water conduit. Interrogate all spaceborne private craft. Ground all suspicious ships and hold the occupants.
I'll relay that message, Commander. Can you give any sort of description of the ship?
No, we merely saw the blast-off scar. Looked like it was from a small space cruiser. That water main break was deliberately sabotaged. An atomic driller did the job.
Atomic driller?
Yes. We found it abandoned near the break. Tell Colonel Henderson I want investigators sent out to examine it. They'll need firefighting equipment.
Yes, sir.
Make an immediate check of all known atomic drilling machines on Mercury. Where they are and who has them.
Yes, Commander.
How's the water situation in Solaria?
It's even more serious than we thought, sir. We're setting up cargo ships to bring some in from other cities. Commander, a Venus-bound passenger ship reported seeing a wrecked lab ship south of Solaria. The pilot thought it might be Professor Mallison's ship.
South of Solaria? How far south?
15 DU, sir.
That's the hottest part of the planet. Even if the ship wasn't badly damaged by the crash, it looks bad for Mallison.
The same passenger ship also picked up Mallison's automatic code, sir. And another temperature report. 122 degrees below zero.
Below zero? That seems impossible. Have you sent any units to investigate?
Not yet, sir. Colonel Henderson...
Yes, I know. You've got problems of your own, Lieutenant. Give me the location of that crashed ship. I'll investigate it myself.
And 87 degrees, 16 minutes, 43 seconds west.
But I suppose that's the ship you shot down.
Shut up, Elvis. I got their Freakman's photo.
Got it, Lieutenant. One more thing, Commander. The passenger ship pilot isn't sure, but he thought he saw something moving near the crashed ship. It doesn't seem likely.
No, it doesn't. But I'll get there as quickly as I can. Corey out.
Corey alive? Yeah. It was somebody else we ran over with the driller. Cut it off.
That is the first ship you shot down, and there's someone still alive.
There couldn't be. That was 4 days ago. And even in the best spacesuit made, nobody could live 4 days in that heat.
What are we going to do?
We're going to make sure. Maybe we can get there before Corey does. And if not, we'll cut Corey's investigation short.
Murdoch, maybe we didn't kill those men with the driller. Maybe it was Corey and somebody else, and they escaped somehow.
Well, if he did, he wouldn't escape this time. You marked down those coordinates, didn't you?
Yeah, they're right here.
All right. I'll take the controls. You get on the view scope. We don't want to get close to another ship, especially Corey's.
We're nearly to the location, sir.
Drop her down a few thousand feet, Hap.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this part of Mercury looks even worse than where we were before. Rougher terrain.
Yes, and it's even hotter. Close to 500 degrees. Now, listen. Get that down, Hap.
Yes, sir. MLS 28.
Mercury Lab Ship 28. That's Mallison's identification code.
Temperature minus 122 degrees. Hey, it cut out.
Minus 122 degrees. I got a fix in that signal, Happy. It's almost directly below us. Look.
It's a cracked-up ship, all right. A lab job, too.
Get your spacesuit on, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Whatever we do, we've got to do it fast.
Hey, Commander, down there by that cliff. It's a man in a spacesuit.
That's incredible. He's waving to us. Stand by for repeller ray.
That's the lab ship, all right. Even in the viewscope, you can see it's pretty badly smashed up.
Yeah, but we're too late. Corey's ship is landing right near it.
What do we do?
He'll probably go in to find what's left of Mellison. When he does, we'll swoop down and blast the wreckage, and then shoot out Terra 5.
Better not get so low, Burdock. They may see us.
There's not much they can do about it. Anyway, I'm keeping between them and the sun. Nobody's going to look up at the sun, especially here on Mercury.
Wait a minute. They're running right past the ship. Where are they going?
Oh, maybe. Seeing something close to the cliff.
Burdock, it's a man. And he's alive.
After 4 days in the blast furnace down there, it's impossible.
See for yourself.
Must be Mellison. We've got to make sure that none of them get out of here. Get your spacesuits on, Grohl.
We aren't going to land.
Not unless we have to. But I'm going to make sure that all 3 of them are finished before we leave here.
Check your suit spacerphone, Happy.
That's working okay, sir. And so's the temperature control.
And we'll need it. All right, open the outer hatch.
Mallison's acting pretty strange, sir. He just stands over there and motions to us instead of coming toward us.
It's hardly a normal way to greet rescuers. Let's see if the spacesuit transmitter's working. Professor Mallison, this is Commander Corey. Can you read me?
He's just waving more excited than ever.
Professor, if you hear me, hold both hands over your head.
He's doing it.
Apparently he can hear us, but his transmitter's out.
I thought I heard something in the earphones just for a second and another voice.
Professor, is there some reason why you want us to come over there? If there is, hold your hands straight out at your sides.
Yeah, that's what he wants us to do.
We better do as he asks. How did he manage to survive in this...
Commander, it's a cave.
Yeah, I see. Commander, can you hear me now? Oh, yes, Professor. My spaceophone wasn't working, so I couldn't answer you. Commander, you've got to look at this. It's a happy surprise to find you alive, Professor. That spacesuit must be remarkably resistant to heat. It isn't the suit that's responsible. Just look in here, where the beam from my atomolite is shining.
It just looks like an ordinary cave.
Further back, look at the walls. You mean that shiny blue-black mineral? Commander, that's ice.
Ice?
In this part of Mercury? Right. Thousands of tons of it, perhaps millions. That's how you manage to stay alive. It's cool in the cave. Yes, with 570 degrees outside. Inside, it's a constant 122 below zero. And your automatic rocket transmitter was right. Commander, do you realize what this underground ice means to Mercury? To the people of Solaria in particular? You mentioned millions of tons. A conservative estimate. Think how easily it could be melted and piped to Solaria. Only a matter of a few miles in comparison with the present haul of more than 1,000. It certainly is a timely discovery. Dozens of conduits can be built from here to Solaria at a fraction of the cost of the one line that was broken.
A spaceship. Yeah, it must be a space patrol craft.
Let's get to our ship, Professor. Believe me, this news will be welcome in Solaria.
Well, what I don't understand is how all this ice could be underground in the hot part of Mercury.
The rock above insulates it. This is not a new phenomenon by any means. Why, on the planet Earth, more than 1,000 years ago, Indians in the Arizona desert used to get ice from a natural cavern such as this. Hey, wait a minute. That's not a space patrol ship. It's a private cruiser.
You're right, sir. It's taxiing around on repeller ray.
I've seen that ship before. Why, it's the one that shot my lab ship down. Are you sure? I'm positive.
Hey, what's a crazy fool doing? He's backing the ship right toward the cave.
Better get out of here or he'll run over us. Got something worse than that in mind. He's seen us and doesn't want us to get out.
Well, maybe he's just backing up to get room to blast off between here and the opposite wall of the canyon.
Not in your life. Quickly, get out of the cave. He's going to put his stern in here and turn on his rocket blast. It's lucky we saw him in time to get out of the cave. Now get behind this rock. Maybe he won't see us from the ship.
You're right, Commander. He's pushing the tail of his ship back in the cave with blasts from his forward rocket.
Really intends to see that we don't get away from here. Now keep close to the rock. I think we'll be safe here.
Hey, he's keeping his forward rockets on to hold the ship in the cave.
Something tells me he's going to regret this.
Wow, the ship's wrecked.
He shot right across the canyon into the opposite wall.
His hand must have slipped off the controls.
No, Happy. The heat from his rocket exhaust turned the ice into steam, and it popped the ship out of the cave like a cork. We'd better get over there, Commander. They may be badly hurt. If they haven't got spacesuits on, they haven't a chance.
Commander, I see somebody getting out. Yeah, there are two of them.
And they do have spacesuits on. Let's get them. By their attitude, I don't think we'll have any trouble.
No, sir. You know, during the last few minutes, sir, I really realized what a wonderful thing water is.
That's so?
Yes, sir. In the form of ice, it saved Professor Mallison's life. And when those two fellows turned it into steam, it simply cooked their goose.
An exciting preview of next week's new Space Patrol adventure after this important question. Have you sent for your Space Patrol spaceophone yet? You better hurry! Yes, sir, this sensational offer is soon going to end. And you don't want to be left without one of these thrilling new spaceophone sets, do you? No, sirree. So, hurry! More fun. You can talk back and forth on the spaceophone to someone a straight 50 feet away. Just like talking on the telephone. Complete with two spaceophones, 50 feet of communication cord, and secret briefing sheet. Now remember, these are official spaceophones, made especially for you on Earth. Real beauties, too. Gleaming blue and yellow plastic. Look exactly like the spaceophones Buzz Corey and the gang use. So don't wait a single day. Hurry! Yes, sir, you have to hurry, because this offer soon comes to an end. To get the complete Space Patrol spaceophone set, do this. Buy a box of Instant Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an Instant Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686. St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in continental U.S. and may be withdrawn at any time. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now for a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. Buzz and Happy have just entered a spaceship in Neptune City Spaceport in search of a traitor against the United Planets. They pause in the open hatch a moment.
He may be up forward, tampering with the controls.
Wrong guess, gentlemen.
Commander, look out!
Here we are, Cadet. I've got a ray gun.
Yeah, well, I've got it.
I warned you.
Carter, put down that gun.
Don't try to get to your feet, Commander.
What are you doing in this ship?
Preparing it for its last voyage. There's an explosive hidden aboard. Time to go off 2 hours after blastoff. And you, my friend, will be aboard.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Queen of Space.
Boys and girls, this is your commander. Do you know how life-giving oxygen is carried to the cells of the body? By the bloodstream. So when a person loses a great deal of blood in an accident or in sickness, there's not enough blood left to do that job. Result? The person dies. So, will you help me save lives by joining the Space Patrol Blood Boosters? It's fun, it's patriotic. So join the Space Patrol Blood Boosters today.
Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Ken Mayer and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Checks, Rice Checks, and Good Hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol. And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.